All right, racing fans, we're here. Welcome back. I will make back at home the top line of the thing, so go ahead and pause. And pause. And that should be the last of it. Give you another second there. Alrighty. And with that, recap
Are
recorded.
we on the internet?
We are on
Yay.
the internet.
Hello, internet.
No internet.
Hi, Internet.
For this session, I will be playing the role of Dusk and Rasa.
Ah.
We
Asa
have
and
had a
Aste are
little,
out.
we've had a little change of staffing, and Aste will be in the Astral Sea tending his gardens, whatever they may be. And Rasa is tending to her human counterparts' children on a camping trip, and therefore we'll play both Dusk and Rasa today.
I'll do it.
You're gonna be
Okay.
fine.
Last session, we everybody woke up from a vision, and there was some immediate scrambling to get on the road. And Augie made his way into town to get some information, and happened to stumble into just the right person that was needed. He did find the fire-crowned Earth Singer, and did successfully persuade them to join in this endeavor. The gang got on the road, and some other stuff happened, but you all made it through the Calamite Pass, and you were just on the other side of it, the northern end of the Calamite Pass. The air has gotten dry as there's a blast of warm wind from the Valley of the Sands to the north, and that's where you camped. Along the way, you had a few interesting memory experiences, and then we will begin today's session on day 63, the third of Flame Rule. And you have just woken up. Gilly is tending to breakfast, and Dusk wanted to take a look around, recalling that we were occasionally being spied on. You popped up the see invisibility, scrying orbs seeming to be around, but you did spot an odd bird in the distance, and it got closer and got bigger and clearly was not a bird. And it
That's no
flew, and
bird.
that's no moon bird. Um, and she came right in, and kind of Rasa went to go meet her and have a chat with her. She flew down, and she flew in. She got smaller, changing into a little copper fairy dragon, and then into a pretty lady in a scaly dress. And that is where we will begin our session, with Asterinian addressing Rasa.
And Maiev shouted, "She's not a bush this time!"
Yeah, she's not a bush this time.
And Rasa
I
said,
think
"Hello
Dusk
again."
and Rasa.
Rasa will
Hello again.
cross her arms and be like, about time.
"Good morning, child.
Good morning.
Your pain, though well hidden from these mortals, emanates from that part of your spirit that communes with mine. You and your companions have need of my assistance. I can feel that. But we have unfinished business I wish to conduct first."
Yeah, I think we do. We had a deal, right?
Yes. Yes, we did. I didn't realize we had a deal. Hold on. Um, I see you are traveling with a new companion, a talented druid and a cleric of Myleki. Sorry. Um,
Well, yes.
has ha, has Sylvanus also made a request regarding the disposition of the potential? I must warn you, Bahamut will not look kindly on any attempt to transport the potential there.
She's gonna look around like, I think so.
Is Maya able to hear what is going on?
I do not know how far away from the group Rasa walked, so I don't know
Can
the answer to that
we
question.
have the map? Because I think we
Oh.
started.
I'm assuming it wouldn't be
What map? I think we
completely
were
out of
just
earshot.
on the continent map, right?
Yeah.
The continent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we're like
assuming it wouldn't be like so far away that it would be out of earshot of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she stepped away so that if they were having a low vocal conversation, they would have a little bit of privacy. But if we're talking to talk, and Maya hears this, she's gonna oh shit, she's talking about and just kind of like do the shh, no, that's a secret.
Yeah, I think Ross would say, we haven't really advertised to her that this egg potential thingy is in our possession, or what it is, or what it means. And we certainly haven't talked about what we were hoping to do when someone came to pick it up.
So you've made no plans to transfer the potential into the custody of anyone else?
Not to anyone else, just someone like you, right? You're still you.
I can confirm Bahamut has offered his divine protection of a concealed location, deep and hidden in the mountains of Lairkond.
Where's that?
It's a continent. Rasa would likely know where it is. I'm gonna do the map thing. Boopity boop boop.
Ooh, ooh, big map.
Oh,
The really big
good
map.
world map
yeah.
this time.
The really. Oh, Laircon. Okay.
Yeah,
Ah. Oh, right. The upside down
right.
U to the west. Got it.
Yeah. So Bahamut has agreed to provide his divine protection of a specific and hidden area. He's covertly assembled a tribe of neutral humans to guard the area without interfering, as long as the potential requires its solitude. They've been granted boons and protections for themselves and their descendants for as long as they are willing to protect the area from incursion. It is
How? Sorry.
my opinion that the potential will be safe and, when fulfilled, cared for with unbiased vigilance, vigor, open handedness, and benevolence as it grows to its final fruition.
Okay. Well, I guess my next question was, what is it going to turn into? Because if you say it's a potential, we called it an egg, which maybe it's not an egg literally, but what being is going to come out of this or become this thing?
It is complicated.
Everything. It's been
How
complicated
long?
since we got this.
Yeah, how long do dragonborns live? What's the average lifespan?
I think it's typical, similar to
I
a
think
human.
it's only ever so slightly shorter than humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The potential would not be fulfilled within your lifetime.
Well, okay. Well, I can't say I would miss it. Seeing as how we're down a party member, if you haven't noticed, not no small part due to the fact that this attracts a certain attention that we don't want.
I think Maya was slowly inching closer to be a little more involved in the situation
Yeah.
because of how protective she is of Rasa.
Yeah, I think there's just sort of a not hostility towards us or anything, but just definitely like a this like this thing has cost us. Just an attitude of like, do you have any idea how much this cost us? Uh,
If you
uh,
trust me,
you have it.
now is the time to transfer it to my custody. You have my deepest oath and promise that it will always be safe and hidden from those with selfish or wicked desires. Agree, favored one, and you'll earn my gratitude as well as my respect.
I'll agree on the condition that you can tell me how we met, if you are who you say you
You feel the blade vibrate,
are. Okay. She's like,
and Smiley just grins. He just grins the toothiest humanoid grin you've ever seen.
okay, all right, you got me there. All right. And I assume it's on Ross's person still, right? So
Yeah.
Rasa will reach in and just say, all right, I'm giving it away. The troublemaking thing's going away. Say goodbye. Last chance. All right, goodbye.
All right. So Astrinian's going to step back a few paces, and as she does, she grows unusually taller and taller. And then a few more paces, she's morphing and changing shape and becomes gleaming brass scales and then develops wings and the long neck and becomes her brass dragon form. And her familiar toothy grin spreads across her face. She blinks very slowly with some kind of fondness in her eyes before she lowers her head to the sand in front of Rasa, opens her mouth wide. Rasa could climb in if she felt like it, lifting her tongue to reveal a fleshy pocket within.
Just Russell will kind of be, ew, ew. Okay, well, and she's going to just sort of like kind of arms length, and as she like places it, she's just going to be like, this thing better not turn into something that some other party of interest needs to kill. It's just going to stuff it into that pocket. Yeah, and just sort of like wipe her hands on the on the sand to clean off.
Alrighty. The tongue gently settles over it. There's a little shiver, and the mouth closes into that grin. And she raises her head and lowers her gaze to Rasa and whispers for her ears only. My child, with gratitude for the future of all dragonkind, I claim you as my champion.
Oh,
If you'll accept me, I will hear and welcome your oath whenever you so choose.
oh,
And in that moment, the dagger starts vibrating again, just crazy within its sheath. And somehow, Rasa knows that the temporary benefits that they have had with that blade for the last 7 days have locked in and are now a permanent feature of that weapon.
she'll.
Something tells you that this is a boon that you have earned for completing a task that was extremely important to Asterinian.
Okay. Well, now I feel bad. Uh, she will bow her head slightly to Asteranian and say, "Thanks. I I'll be happier when we get our friend back. But I hope
And then
it's
the
worth it."
voice gets louder, and intentionally she's making herself heard by the group. Now tell me, my beloved, what assistance would you and your companions request of me? What's happened to your friend? Tell me, what have I missed?
And she'll just sort of go into the history of what happened since we picked it up and the red dragon attack on Dybrook and how we were accosted in Ardglass, and it seems like we've been watched. And when we finally made our way back to Dybrook, just kind of giving the cliff notes of all the important events that seem to be related to picking this thing up and people hunting it down or hunting us down. And then when we got back to Dybrook and we barely had a day's rest when we were attacked and a powerful mage disintegrated our friend Snaps of Ice. And we were preparing to say goodbye to her formally when we all had a dream similar to a dream we've had before, but this time taking us to a different place, to the northeast, far to the northeast, assuming where Snaps is from. past the Hunting's Bane Mountain.
And
And
Maiev is on her hip while she's relaying this information.
yeah, and we're heading there now to on the account of the request we felt to go there and talk to players, forgetting the person that we think we're going to talk to.
Somebody at a
You're
temple
going
somewhere.
to the
Title.
temple to see her. Well,
The Grand
the veiled
Poobah of
one
the village.
gave you the dream. There's
Yes,
a
the
high
Veiled One.
priestess.
Yes, to talk to a high priestess of the Veiled One back in her hometown. And yeah, we're just on our way, and it's taking time because we can't fly like you know. Just saying.
We only have a 10-day to get there.
Not sure you can lift a whole carriage and a couple horses and.
But
Actually,
we
we have
don't
to
I
leave
have
the
a
see.
horses
carriage
behind.
and horses.
Oh, we left
I
them behind.
see no carriage and no horses.
Never mind, player. Forgot about that too. Yeah. I mean, how many people can you fit on your back? Just.
And as that is spoken, she just swells a little bit bigger and takes another step back and swells a little bit bigger
Wow.
and
Impressive.
winks.
Well.
Light north, is it? It is within
Yeah.
my power. It is
Well.
within my power to carry you and all of your companions for a single day. But I
Nice.
must share my stewardship with the potential by nightfall tomorrow. And so, with regret, I must leave you before nightfall today.
I'd say anything to help us get our friend back faster is welcome. I don't think my patriots here will disagree with that kind of assistance, right?
Maiev has
Compatriots?
started like hollering over her shoulder, like, "You guys want to take a ride on Smiley? I feel like it'll be way faster."
Foggy nods and starts getting up and getting ready
All
to
right.
ride a giant dragon.
All right.
Aesterinian's going to look at Maiev and go, Smiley?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah. We gave you a little nickname because on account of you're just very happy, and without knowing who you were specifically, Dusk has a way of saying names that stick, and I think he was the first one who could see you because you do that thing where he sees invisible things.
He saw you smiling up in the sky.
Yeah, so we called you Smiley. Just it stuck. That's
He's
okay.
and he's dusky, and then that one, and she's pointing at Foggy, is, well, we call him Foggy, but it's Fog, and she just kind of like turns to look at Rasa, who's better with names than she is.
Well,
Fog.
I think Astra knows who
What was that?
I think Astra knows who we are.
I've been picking up on some stuff.
But
yeah, we just do nicknames, and she's like getting very sheepish, like, is that okay? Like, this is it's occurred to her that this is a whole god that we have been calling Smiley.
The gigantic head comes very, very close to the sand, and then neck stretches until you can feel its breath on your face, and your hair is blowing back, and you hear a whisper, only if you smile when you say it. And then she'll stand back up. And wearing the gigantic grin.
Dusk will just big ol' smile is blessings of Saluna on you, Smiley. Is that weird to say that to you?
Is it weird?
Yes, son, that is a little weird.
Okay,
Let's
well,
not have that. Yeah.
okay.
As stodgy as she is and proper and straight laced, that's a little creepy, and she's not liking that.
Okay. All right. Well, last one on the dragons, a rotten egg. I mean, potential. I mean,
And I think Maev's just gonna like as she's getting, she doesn't really know the anatomy of dragons, but as she's getting up there, she's gonna go get as close to what she thinks is Aesteridian's ear as possible, and just go. By the way, Billy's special magicy stuff is kind of secret, so uh we didn't hear what you said they can do because it's kind of secretive.
And the entire dragon shakes underneath you as she giggles or chuckles to herself. Yep, you're a special one. And hold on, and we'll go for a ride.
I'm just getting this vibe of like never-ending story of the ride on
Yeah.
Falcor.
All right.
So I'm
So
gonna make Snaps take over again.
everybody climbs on the dragon. Croc feeling okay with that. Gilly feeling okay with that.
Yeah, Gilly's like, we're doing what now? That's a big dragon. It's a really big dragon.
It's and she's got this like caricature esque smile ear to ear when she says it this time. It's smiley. It's fine. It's Ross's friend. It's great. It's gonna be fine. They're gonna she she's gonna take us closer to where we're trying to go, and it'll be way faster. It'll be great. It'll be fine. Come on up here.
You know those things can't just fly. They gotta rest and stuff. I mean, they can only go so far before they have to touch down. But I guess it's still faster than yeah, okay, and she starts climbing on. They start climbing on. Here we go.
Alrighty. So Aesterinian's wings are gonna open wide, and there's gonna be just a massive downbeat, and you all are going to need to hang on. Just for my own curiosity, what is your riding order?
Um.
What
Well,
order are we sitting in?
Maiev was as close to her ear as she thinks she can get, so she's close to the probably the base of Aesterinian's neck, and she would only move if Rasa did not come to be next to her. She would be next to Rasa.
I think Rasa would try to be as far forward as possible. And then
Rasa, Maiev.
Dusk would probably be towards the back, just to kind of be like to try and hold on to anybody, since he's big strong boy.
So then it's probably all total Rasa, Maiev, me, Gilly, Dusk.
Yeah, Gilly's probably furthest back, finding a comfortable place to be dead center between wings.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like she's considering balance, ballast. Where do we need to be? Okay, they're all the fuck up there. I'm gonna scoot back here a little bit. I know how this
I
tail
know how
shit
wings
works.
work. Okay, so Aesterinian can fly for 12 squares in a day, but she has to rest twice. So 3 squares, a rest, 3 squares, a rest, 3 squares, and then that will be the end. Which direction do you point her?
Well,
What time of day is it?
plan.
Morning.
Yeah, what
Breakfast.
time of day is it?
Just
So
it's
Toward-
morning. You guys just got up.
towards the sun and 3 stars to the left. No.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say
Like that?
just the one break in the Valley of the Sands is fine if it means that we essentially end at the Pecan Grove.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
That seems as
Seems fine to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay.
Because we're going to essentially the highest peak, right? The over here.
Yeah.
You are going to the eastern face of that mountain.
So yeah, because it'll be less of a yeah. Shortest distance between two places is a straight line. So the one stop in the Valley of the Sands is fine by me.
I mean, you do have a goddess with you.
I do.
All right. So there's this lurch, and you guys are there's the beating of wings, and you are quickly lifting off from the ground and flying to the northeast. The sun is coming up. It's just bright, clear blue skies. The sun is bright on the kind of gold of the sands and it's very shiny on Astrinian scales. You're flying. There's wing beating. There's a lot of wind. So there's a lot of time in your own heads because to talk to each other, there's you're gonna have to talk real loud. A lot of yelling would have to happen. Um, so in this first leg of the journey, I imagine there probably would not be much speaking.
It'd probably be hard to talk unless psychic whispers, I guess, was an option with Ross. Probably she'd probably do psychic whispers just to make sure that if anything, anybody had a thought
Okay.
that came up. Let's see.
She just doing her 3 usual party members, Maya, Foggy, and Dusk.
What'd you do?
Because
Psychic
Maiev, I think she always does Maiev because Maiev can also then turn, look at somebody, and talk into their head much less eloquently.
Right.
She usually talks to the 2 clerics and Mayev, but
Yeah.
Snaps isn't here.
Right.
equal to your proficiency bonus. So that's 4 people.
She gained a person. So she could include everybody.
Psychic
Silly.
die.
Oh yeah. Besides ghosts, you can do that. Yeah. Wow.
Zaste's not here.
So yeah, she'd probably do. How many can I? Who's really? Who
I
is
mean,
the
you
odd?
can do
Probably everybody but
Dusk,
Gilly,
Fog,
right?
Yeah.
Foggy.
Yeah.
Probably everybody but Gilly. Not to like leave Gilly out. Yeah, definitely
Want to weird
Foggy
Gilly out.
Dust, Maiev. Feel like. Wait, do I have enough? Forgetting somebody? Dusk, Maiev, Foggy.
Mayev, Foggy, and
That's
then
3.
Ratha is the one casting and doing it, so not her.
Yeah,
And then
right.
Snaps and Aste are not here, so really Gilly is the 4th person if you want to include
Oh,
them.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Everybody's in on the not quite open channel. The the
You have to talk to Ratha.
operator. Gotta talk to the operator. So yeah, she'll kick that up. That's a D8. Say number of hours equal to the number rolled chosen to 1 mile of each other. I don't think she's ever rolled a 1.
1 hour.
1
All
hour.
righty.
Okay. That's she's never.
The
Yeah,
first hour of the
I
flight,
did not
and
mean to
then
do
no
that.
more.
that's okay. So yeah.
How do I delete that? I did not mean to do that.
It's fine. We'll delete it later.
I think she did.
Okay.
All right. Checked off. Check. Okay. Yeah. An hour. Woohoo! Unless I rolled that wrong. Continue. I'll double check. Carry on. This up. not
Is there any
level.
conversation mentally through Rasa, or are we just in our own heads right now?
I think. I mean, without knowing where we're gonna land precisely, I think Dusk will, because it is sort of like a moment to just sort of be alone with his thoughts, and of course talking to Rasa if need. But he would be like, yeah, what the heck, never tried it. But yeah, let's just check in on maybe Asti, maybe with a sending spell. Just to
Okay.
see, just to make sure he's okay, good. Just making sure. All right, 25 words. Here we go.
And
Professor.
you're reaching out to a different plane of existence. Isn't there a
I
possibility it doesn't work?
It's a 5% chance if he is on a different plane. Yes.
Okay.
So he's just gonna be like, Professor, just taking a I'll say stab. Just taking a shot. Not sure if this will work. Checking in to make sure you're good. We're riding dragons now. Whoopee! Woohoo! Yeah!
Okay, can anyone transcribe that into the messages so that maybe he will see it at the grocery store?
I should.
Oh, that would have been smart.
I was not typing.
It's like, Professor, we're just taking a shot. Not sure this will work. Checking in, make sure you're good. The gist of it. We're riding a dragon now. Wee! Woohoo! Ha!
A court stenographer, I am not.
Is Maiev doing that?
Yes.
And I am not going to answer for Aste. That is not.
I don't know. It's hard to emulate
Not comfortable doing that.
the precise reaction would be like, oh, not to make you feel bad, but we're riding dragon now. Wee! All right, there goes a third level spell.
And so, what do you need to roll a percentile to see if you succeed in sending this message?
5%. Well, I guess that's up to the DM to roll, and then because I wouldn't necessarily know.
Right.
And a 5%, I mean, you could roll a d20. You don't have to roll a percentile dice. Basically, if it's a natural
more fun
one.
with a percentile.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Are you rolling snaps? West.
I'm rolling, and it is a 38, so it made it through.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm assuming if I don't get a response at all, either A, dead, or B, didn't work. And I don't know if Dusk would precisely know the rules of the spell. It's not like he has a manual that says, well. Anyway.
Time seems to be weird for Aste as well, because once he was gone from us for like a day or two, but he apparently was on his side gone for quite a while. Like
Like
the
6
length
months.
of time
Yeah.
was
He's gonna get my
6
message
months.
and be like, be good. Just like over 3 days, he's gonna get this message drawn out.
He just gets this ringing in his ears.
Like, oh god.
So you're not going to get a message right away.
Okay,
And so Dusk may or may not know what that means, but it has gone through, and when Aste gets it, he can respond if he chooses to.
It's like when the printer has to spool for like 2 minutes.
Ashley, are you explaining that? So I don't think Gilly has ever been wrapped into a group uh,
Yeah,
telekinetic conversation.
sure. So Rasa would ease her into it, and be like, "Hi, Gilly, it's Rasa. I'm in your head. Don't panic."
I can spell.
Cool. Dun, 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 dun.
Gilly is being baby stepped into the operator board.
Yeah.
Just saying, "Hi, it's Rasa.
Mm,
Don't panic. I can do this kind of
panic.
cool thing." Yeah,
Right.
I figure we're all connected to me right now, telepathic. But so if you need me to relay anything to anybody else, just let me know.
Convenient.
Very helpful.
Hmm. You're not rooting around in here, are you?
No, that's not how this works.
Okay.
It's like having a conversation, just you. That's it.
Okay. The view is amazing.
Better than any view I've ever had.
You you connected to this dragon in some way.
Yeah, it's
You
a long
said
story.
someone said goddess.
Yeah,
Is this really a Sterinian?
or some sort of representation of the flesh of sorts. Yes. You know, gods are weird.
I caution you. Take responsibilities seriously and recognize the weight of them before you accept them.
Well,
That's all I will say.
the weight of them has been very clear in hindsight. Not always very clear when you stumble upon something in the middle of the forest that it's turn the attention of gods and mages. But that's what this life is all about. So, as you
I'm
could
just,
tell, as you know,
yeah,
probably.
Gilly just says, I'm just saying it doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be.
Well, if it helps us recover snaps, then that'll be a net positive.
Yes. Agreed. Understood. Let's go. The view is lovely.
Tuska's just going woohoo, just out loud. Just Tuska's like
I'm the king of the world.
beside himself. Like this is like the awesomest thing he's ever done.
It is a beautiful view, and as you are looking out at this view, above you is the bright, dazzling blue, endless dome of the midday sky. Below you are Asterinian's brilliant brassy scales. It's blinding in the sunlight. And on either side of you, her massive wings are spread out. And they're still, more often than not, as she's holding them wide to catch the searing updrafts from the sands below. Occasionally, they will beat like massive sails, snapping in the wind as she climbs to catch the next vortex of hot air. One moment, you are all in a state of near blindness between the sky and the scales, and the next, you are surrounded by mist. This is no cloud. You are experiencing another shared memory, all of you. There is mist in every direction as far as you can see, but this is not fog. This is not a cloud. The protomatter mists of the ethereal plane seem to cling to Snap's fur. In front of you is a massive wolf. Most of you recognize Karak. His head is low, teeth bared, not angry, but reactive in the way that a cornered animal would be because he is dying. He's being slowly subsumed into the mists of the ethereal plane. You feel one of Dusk's large hands on Snap's shoulder. His other hand is holding one side of a scroll while Snaps holds the other, and the scroll is covered in loopy but legible and hastily written spellwork. This is the heavily modified version of Bestow Curse. But the memory shifts, and you see the rest of Fate's Wanderers arrayed nearby. Foggy standing in front of Kurok, Maiev nearby with her axe, and Rasa just in the periphery, both of her hands on a piece of paper and seemingly ready to take the divine power of the Veiled One well up in Snaps. Alongside and entwined with it is the silvery light of the Moon Maiden. There is this shuddering of radiance as the spell seems to almost come alive, its level and complexity threatening to rip the weave from Snap's tenuous grasp. But Dusk's hand holds her steady. Snaps again holds the lashing and bucking threads of magic and guides them to Saluna's purpose. As one, the moon and the gray knit together, encircling and binding elf and wolf once again as the spell comes to an end, and Snaps is left breathless in its wake. She hears all of you, the rest of you talking. You hear voices, but Snaps is too awed to hear the words. You hear the tearing of paper, and you are once again high above the desert, on the back of a goddess's avatar. Maiev, your boobs are a little warm.
Her boobs are a little warm and her eyes are a little misty.
And Dusk will go from going woohoo, just sobbing like, teamwork makes the dream work. Just like caught off guard by that. Just seeing it from that perspective, just it sobers Dusk up mighty quickly and kind of contemplates all the small ways, big and small ways that Dusk has had some sort of impact on the people around him. And he'll send a note to Ross and just tell Kurok he's a good boy.
Say that again.
Dusk will tell Rasa to tell Kurok or Foggy, I guess, that tell Kurok he's a good boy. And Rasa will be like, Dusk wants me to say that. Dusk wants to say to Kurok that he's a boy.
And I think at the same moment, because her being the center spoke of the wheel, she gets all of us. She is the one behind the operator board. She's getting
like,
all of the input.
Like, okay,
and we have no idea when anyone else is thinking at her. So at the same time, Maiev is thinking, did we all just see that? And she's definitely got something in her eye.
Yeah, Roswell will just say, yeah, sounds like it. Judging by Dusk's reaction.
And I think Maiev will just kind of cock her head a little bit and use her version of Psychic Whispers, which is just to one person. She's got the telepathic speech thing. And ask Gilly if she saw it. If they saw it.
I believe she did.
Yeah.
Did she? Did Gilly also see this memory?
Everybody did.
West. Okay. Yes, Maiev. I saw it. I don't understand it. That looked like the ethereal plane,
It was.
and it looked a little something like a not. I mean, generally bestowing a curse is not something one would do upon a friend. It
And
looked a lot like bestowing a curse.
it it was, but it wasn't. And she'll go into the story and explain to Gilly that Foggy over here had been cursed, and then some other things that we're not going to talk about happened, and we had to remove a curse, or remove curse was cast upon him, and the connection to his now friend had been severed. And Kurok, the direwolf that had been bound to him in the initial curse, was adrift, and we went to go find him, and yeah, that's how she would say it. We went to go find him and make Boggy whole again.
Huh. I don't believe Gilly was aware that Foggy had this particular secret.
Probably not. And
Yeah.
so Maya will be like, it's not like super super secret, like your secret stuff that we totally don't know about. Um, but yeah, he's got Kurok, and Kurok is very 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 good boy.
Turok was a dire wolf.
Yeah,
Huh. And they're bound to one another now. Like permanently.
yeah, yeah. It was. I think it was the moon one, Luna, the one Dusky's always talking about. I'm really bad with names. But that goddess, and then I think Naps's goddess, the veiled one.
Lycanthropy. It's like lycanthropy, but not.
That's a big word.
Right. I think I get it. Why Seluna would be interested in maintaining something that doesn't look like a good thing, but for some reason Foggy thinks it is a good thing.
Yeah, because they're like not like brothers, because an elf can't really have a wolf as a brother, but well, half elf, high elf, I don't know. But they're basically like brothers, and so, but they're also kind of the same person, because Kurok is in his head, and she's just gonna like spiral through it for as long as Gilly will listen to her.
Well, Gilly doesn't have message, so she can't have a private chat with Foggy while they're riding on a dragon's back, but there probably would be one later.
Mm-hmm. And Gilly's perfectly cool to just gloss over the super secret stuff that we don't know about, that
Yep.
none of us know anything about.
Yep. She lets that go.
Totally believe in that. Cool.
Not long after that little memory, Dusk, you do get the reply in your mind from Aste. It is a little warbled. It's coming across planes, but you do hear him. It's in the chat there for you. I can read it for the recording. I've been keeping tabs. Definitely entertaining. Do you know the singer yet? I do. Curious if you'll get there in time. Hustle, hustle.
A singer. A singer. Like, what the fuck is going on? Dusk would be like to Ross. He'll be like, "Does anyone know anything about a singer?"
The Earth Singer.
Oh, the Earth Singer. God, see, player just not up to desk.
Yeah, the fire crowned earth singer. You know, the person that I stumbled upon as the correct answer that I definitely knew.
I'm thinking like,
The person sitting behind you on the dragon.
Yeah.
thinking like, yeah, he'll wait to send something back because we're still early in the day, and he's like, "Oh, sure, I should burn so many spells." But if he does, then it's like, "Oh, then we're good." He knows he's a professor. He's a smart guy. He put things together. If you're curious, if you'll get there in time, hustle, hustle.
I can almost hear Andrew saying it
Mm-hmm.
in that very matter of fact,
Hustle, hustle.
potty tone.
That was a damn near spot on professor impersonation. Oh, my
All
brain
right,
is
so
not
we
mush.
get about 3 squares into the desert here, and then Asterinian starts descending, kind of slowly coming down. She's gonna have to take a little bit of a breather right about here. So she's gonna the wind is gonna calm a little bit, and you all are gonna alight on a dune. It's a fairly high dune. You've got good visibility around you while she can rest and breathe and sun herself a little bit. So you've got a little bit of a break. You can chill out for a little bit.
I guess at this elevation, you likely could see on the horizon of in the desert to the north that there are just little pinpoints here and there on the horizon that you just see sand rising into the air uh, in unusual plumes. Like you're not sure what would cause some big gust of sand to just suddenly fly up out of the desert into the sky. But there's some shit that does happen in this desert, and you're seeing from a great distance activity.
Some shit is happening because we have been through at least part of this before.
But, on the route between the community and Pecan Grove, yeah.
The
Yeah.
wanderers have only really been on the road at the very edge.
Right.
They have
But
not gone into the desert, apparently, like some other folks did.
Right.
Yeah. So, player is in 4 campaigns and needs a little bit of help. Has this group that we are actively playing experienced battle with fire elementals?
Fire elemental?
Once early
Yes,
on.
Maiev found. Yeah, that was a very hard fight for us, and then Maiev found some pretty cool glass in the sand.
Right. Okay. Cool. Perfect. That's exactly what I
And
was
she
hoping
sold
to
it
hear.
in.
Yeah.
She sold it in Dracot, I think. Maybe, or maybe you still
That's
have it.
why I did not find it in my inventory. So it's possible that she sold it somewhere or gave it to someone or something, or I just forgot to write it down. Regardless, she's going to take this time while we're resting to just kind of scooch away from everybody just a little bit and hurl some firebolts into the sand and see what they do.
I don't believe a firebolt would be hot enough to do anything to the sand.
But it's 2d10 fire damage.
What's everybody's passive perception?
Head.
15
Ross's
million.
is like 1,000,000.
Ross's is 20.
16
So's
over here.
Gilly. Gilly's
Yeah.
is
It's up to
22.
Rasa if she's going. Okay. Gilly is
Ross's
22. Okay.
No, Gilly is
It's up to
also
Rasa and
20.
Gilly.
Also 20, not 22.
20. Okay. It's up to Gilly and Rasa if they want to. They both see. It's way down. You're on a pretty big dune. It's kind of way down at the bottom between some dunes. There seems to be a little bit of debris maybe stuck in the sand.
Is there? So Rasa spots it like out of the corner of her eye. Can she get like a clear idea of what kind of debris it is, just from focusing on it?
Is it shiny?
Just from focusing on it. It's not shiny. It seems to be maybe some wood. Can't tell if it's worked like crafted wood or if it's like the leftovers of some ancient tree or maybe a bone sticking up out of the sand down there at the kind of in between the dunes.
We're all on the ground, right? We're not flying anywhere, right?
Yeah, we're all on
So
the ground. Easter Indian is sunning herself, and you all are just kind of chilling out. It is well, it's probably very hot. It's sunny, and it's in the desert. Um, and mostly, it's you have a very good view of the desert around you. Seems to be very empty, very sandy where you are. Relatively safe spot to rest for a little bit. And just down at the bottom of this dune, kind of mostly buried, there seem to be just a couple of little debris bits sticking out of the sand.
Rasa would bring it to everyone's attention, but just sort of say, not sure it's wise leaving this dune, but could be supplies, could be something of interest.
Is there any chance that I am within 30 feet of it when I scooted away a little bit to do my firebolting at the sand?
Um, you're probably not within 30 feet of it, but you could get a little bit closer. I'd say you're maybe about 50 feet away.
Um,
And if anybody's paying attention, Gilly's just twitching a little bit. One shoulder just kind of twitches, waiting to see what y'all are gonna do.
yeah, I think Maya will just kind of. She'll respond and go, Supplies are good. And there might be something shiny in there as she's casting her mage hand. Uh, and it'll go the full 30 feet that it can from her, and she'll realize that it's not reaching it, and she'll keep moving as the extra 20 feet or so until she can grab hold of it with the mage hand and try to start yanking this shit up to us. Whatever it is.
You can only do like 5 pounds or something with that mage hand, right?
I have no
Not
idea.
very much.
Yeah, mechanically, it's like 5 pounds.
10 pounds.
10 pounds.
It-
Wow.
10 pounds. Yeah, still not enough. It's not budging. Your hand's just tugging on whatever this is. It seems like it's maybe pretty buried in there, whatever it is.
It's buried.
Dusk will be like, could it be a trap? Could it be I mean, what would be something way out here, anyways? A carriage? What?
Dromo? Could be a Dromo station, Dromo wagon.
Oh, what now?
The Dromo, the folks that transport water here in the desert.
Oh. Right, so,
Would you like me to go take a look?
I mean, if something were to surprise you, are you going to be alright, or something
And
mean?
the shoulders start twitching again, and she looks a little weird. Her eyes kind of look greener than usual, and she takes a step back from you, and their skin starts to change, and little pokey bits start to stick out on their cheeks, and the nose and the mouth start to stretch forward a little bit. And she morphs and changes into a fully feathered giant vulture.
Oh. Okay.
And she'll take off and fly close enough to see what it is.
Right.
So cool.
I assume it's been over an hour.
Do you land or just fly, circle around it a little bit?
Fly, circle around it, get close enough to see what it actually is.
Okay.
And then I'll let you know
It
if she
seems
lands.
to be okay. It's kind of hard to tell what it is. It seems to be, now that you're closer, seems to be some old debris. Wood, definitely something crafted by hands. It's not like an old tree or something. It's definitely not bones left here from something. It seems to be very, very weathered bits of wood sticking up out of the sand.
Would it be debris from
Just
a
dried out
Dromo
and
station? A Dromo wagon?
not sure what that is, but it's
Oh,
possibly a
it's a
wagon
great
bit
big
sticking out of
wagon
the
that
sand.
has a leather tanned, essentially bladder on it that carries 50 gallons of water and
Okay.
is pulled by horses in the
Possibly
desert.
be.
Okay.
Okay, could be. Could be. The remnants of that. It's definitely old and broken and abandoned, whatever it is. But
And
wagon, yeah, you can kind of see how what's buried might be that.
wild shaped, can I communicate with Rasa still?
I don't think
Yes.
assuming unless it's been under an hour. If it's been under an hour, then yes.
Oh no, we've
No,
already
it has
landed
been
once,
3
so it's been
hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, could you only
Right.
But
Oh.
Maiev can talk at anyone that she can see, as long as they're within 30 feet when she initiates it.
And so the mechanics of wild
Okay.
shape, I'm still me, so you should be able to talk to me, right?
Yeah.
Your mind is still you. Your body is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. So as Gilly goes over Maya's head, she'll do the thing, use her bonus action to do the thing, and talk into her head and go, I think Rasa's radio thing went down. What'd you find?
May have been a wagon. Do you want me to try and pull it out of here or bring you down here?
And she's still got the mage hand up. I think it's a thing. It lasts for a minute. So she's trying to kind of unbury it a little bit with the mage hand if she can. Just kind of cocks her head over her shoulder, it might be a wagon. I'm gonna go look unless somebody stops me, and I'll make my way down over where Gilly is.
Well, if that's the case, Gilly's
As you
just
get
going to settle
closer,
on the sand nearby.
as you land on the sand, no, nothing happens.
Okay.
Nothing happens. There's just some bits of something, possibly a wagon. Very old, very weathered, sun-beaten, dried out, sandblasted bits of wood.
And as Maya gets closer, it's a real cool trick, Gilly. It's a really cool trick.
And the feathers just sort of fluffle, and the white ones around the base of the neck, wrinkle up and settle back down. And the big, ugly vulture head with no feathers on it. And the beak just goes snap at you.
I think I'm gonna start trying to dig it out enough that just a chair.
We're going SEAL Team 6 on this wagon.
I'm gonna start trying to dig it out enough for Gilly to be able to hopefully pull it up out of there and drag it back over to the rest of the party if it's interesting.
I was gonna say Dusk would have Lightbringer out and kicked on just in case, just to be at the ready for anything shenanigans. But if it's looking like they're
As you
making
dig, As you
As I
dig, nothing really happens. It's just you're spending some time as Asteranine is resting. The sun is rolling overhead, and you just start kind of excavating this piece of wood, and it turns into multiple pieces of wood. Definitely used to be a wagon. You find some smaller pieces that could have been maybe crates or something. Um, and as you're excavating this, some of the pieces that were buried are a little less weathered, and you do find scorch marks. Um, and you keep digging. You might find a couple bones, humanoid bones.
Mm,
Um, this. Do you want to roll? Let's see.
I would
What do you want
gladly
to?
roll.
Do you want to like look at things? What do you want to know about this?
I just kind of. I'm feeling like it's probably investigation. She's up in there, hands on, trying to figure out what the fuck we're looking at here.
Okay.
I think
She's got
Gilly's
some
probably
sand in her eye.
Gilly's probably paying less attention to what Maiev is digging up out of the ground and more attention to their surroundings.
Keeping
Just
watch.
sort of on the lookout, knowing that there's some shit that happens in this desert.
Mm-hmm.
Looking out for big bug tails coming up out of the sand, you know. Giant scorpions
Okay.
have been known to be found.
Roll
And
me an investigation and not a survival, a nature check, just to see something.
nature check from me.
Yes, an
Okay.
investigation and a nature.
All right. Well, the investigation in her excavating, she got some sand in her eye. That's a natural 1 for a 4.
Mm,
The nature check is a 10 for a 9 because that's an intelligence stat.
yeah. Okay. You think this has maybe been here for a while, and it doesn't seem very, very. It's been here a while, and there's some bones, some broken wagon and crate bits. You don't really find anything interesting. You ain't
We
found
ain't
shit.
found shit.
Ain't found shit. Any of the less weathered, broken off pieces of wood are going to be collected and brought up to our wood carver.
Oh,
Okie dokie.
it's very dry.
Mm-hmm. Is that bad for
I
the
don't know. Maybe not. Might just be a little more delicate, splintering all that. But it's an interesting vintage of wood. You know, desert dried wood is a new one for me. Sand blasted and all that. Look how smooth it is. It's already been pre-sanded.
no splinters for you? And she's like rubbing her eye because she definitely got some sand in there.
And Gilly's just gonna fly back over and settle on the sand next to Astrinian and revert to Gilly form.
Well,
Really cool trick.
so you do that often? Is that like it's an interesting party trick?
We refer to it as wild shape.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's
Oh, I'm familiar with that. I think, as I remember, that Dusk doesn't remember a whole lot from home. It seems really familiar to me. I just can't quite put my finger on it.
Kids love it. All the kids back in Equinshire absolutely loved it. Harold did it all the time.
Could you
They
like turn it?
loved when he became a wolf.
Could you turn it into like a dog
well, yes,
or a cat
or well, yes.
or a fish?
I've never tried aquatic creatures. I possibly.
Interesting. The professor, I'm
Generally,
sure, would love to hear.
generally more like useful beasts
What's the
to take
biggest creature
flight.
you? What's the biggest creature you've ever turned into?
I personally don't know the answer. Probably the he could have done giant octopus at some point, but um, I imagine, depending on what you mean by large, a swarm of quippers is pretty big.
Swarm of what?
Quippers, I don't even know what it is. It's just on this list. Um, but direwolf. Direwolf is one of my favorites. The tail is remarkable, so useful.
Ooh.
I see. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Good to have you on our side here. Can you do that a lot? Like
Just twice a day. Well,
twice?
4 times a day if I get a good nap in the afternoon.
Well, there might be time for that. As long as we're not distracted by the wreckages of any more wagons.
Look, you got some cool wood out of it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'll turn it into something nifty. Some trinket to commemorate this trip. Something for snaps.
And I think
And it
while
would have
we
taken
finish,
you some time to. I was going to say, it would have taken you some time to do your excavating, so we might be getting to the end of Asturinian's rest.
yeah, and any other time left over after having given uh, the wood over to the wood carver, Maya would have settled in probably under a wing if she can, to not be blinded by the light coming off of the amethyst that she's working with, and done a little more work on the pendants that she's making.
Glimmer, glint, glimmer in the sunshine.
We are getting ready to get underway again. I would like players to check DMs.
Huh?
And I imagine at some point during this pause in the action, Gilly probably would have taken a moment to talk to Foggy briefly and just acknowledge that his something that is personal and his own story, that it generally isn't common that someone else would share your story like that, and they offer something that comes across as sympathy, that something so personal to you has been shared outside of your intent, and uh, basically promises to keep it to themselves.
This whole time she's been talking at him, his eyes have been the typical of being in a rage state, where his sclera has gone red and the iris has gone yellow, and she's going to watch as it shifts to the normal blue and white. And he's going to say, realistically speaking, if we didn't have to get up and go so quickly, this was around the time that I was going to reveal it to all of the important people anyway, so it's fine.
All
When we
of the
get
important people.
Yeah, when we get back home, I'm gonna tell, or I was gonna
Ah,
tell you. I don't have to now, but when we get back home, I'll tell. Uh, Bringwe should probably know. Someone whose name is currently escaping me should know. Player is forgetting the name of
Ar-
the Artelis. Yes,
Artelis,
thank you. Yeah,
Jacob. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Artelis and Jacob would get told. Jean and Miscaros would get told in person if possible. Yeah, I would have revealed this eventually anyway. It's a thing I've got good control over, and yeah, we're not a rampant beast. We're a partnership that happens to reside in a single body. So it's fine.
Someday, I'd like to hear more about this partnership, if you wish to
Absolutely.
share it.
Of course.
And then they're just going to go sit by the dragon.
Cool. And they're gonna watch as his face gets a little solemn and struggling to be for a moment before the eyes back, and
Okay.
he sort of resets his stance a little and just starts being observatory of the surroundings as well.
And have we all read our DMs?
I didn't get no DMs.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Secret D&D again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Secret D&D.
D&D again, yeah.
Oh, secret game of D&D.
Rebecca here, just chuckling at myself because I suddenly realized, vulture, you can't tell from a distance or even up close whether a vulture is male or female.
The mystery
The mystery
continues.
persists.
And I didn't even ask that time.
uh,
D&D, Secret D&D. We need to make a little song about it.
We do. Mission table. Use shapes. Table. Because Maya would know some of the things that her husband turned into.
I don't know what level Gerald is.
No idea.
Still alive.
No idea. He's
But has
definitely
he
still
gained any
alive.
levels since I have left home?
Yeah, who knows? Are we still having Secret D&D?
yes, I'm being very careful.
Hmm.
You can continue without me.
Does Asterinian have anything to say as she's starting to get up and stretch after laying in the sun?
I don't think so. I think she is really focused on, I have a task. I need to get it done. I am being held responsible and given a responsibility, and it is my main focus, although it would be nice if Rasa would choose to be my champion at some point in the future. What is important today is the potential. And so I will help her. I will do what these people need. It happens to be in the direction I am going. So I'll do whatever they need. But my goal is end of the day, I am headed further north or
I
further
believe
wherever.
that's 25 words.
And for some reason, we don't have
So
control.
any response would be verbal. So did you move away from the party? Or do they notice anything?
Oh, that's a fair point. Yes. Yeah, he would just in the moment take like 10 or 15 seconds to formulate the beginnings of the response and then simply very suddenly out loud say, I can't think of anything specific, but from what I recall of Snaps' goddess, remembrance and mourning are important, and I'm doing a lot of that myself. And then the eyes go back to, although he'll probably sit like that for a minute in case somebody goes, what the hell was that?
Which Maiev would probably go, what the hell? What? Are
I
you talking to yourself again, Foggy?
No, for once. I received a sending.
Oh.
Someone of Snaps' family reached out and said, "Is there any way in particular that I can help?" And from a distance, I don't think so. So I just
Oh.
let them know that we're, or at least I, uh, in particular, am, yeah, you know what I mean.
And she'll just kind of ruffle your hair a little bit.
That does bring out a little bit of a smirk.
It's gonna be fine. Gonna
Yeah.
go get her. I'm gonna bring her back. And she's gonna have a new necklace. Oh. We're gonna have to go back to Ocarthel. And she's just muttering to herself now all the things that we're gonna do once we get Snaps back, because we're gonna get Snaps back.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to replace the non-magical items that were lost. She needs new earrings.
Yeah.
I think at some in that moment, Gilly might move closer to Maiev and just put a hand on her shoulder and say, I still don't know why I'm here, but I want you to think positive. You're a very positive woman, but also uh, just monitor your expectations. I don't know what the plan this goddess has, but I can't do anything that I know of to help in this situation. And I want you to adjust your expectation. I don't know what we're doing, and I don't want your heart broken.
And she'll just kind of like listen and nod and just kind of smirk a little bit, and her response is going to be something along the lines of, I usually don't know what I'm doing either, and so far we've done mostly okay. All I know is that you are the fire crowned earth singer that we were told to bring to the halls of her temple. And I know that the Veiled One was the one who told us to. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you all the way.
she's just gonna kind of like nod and nestle back down and work a little bit more on the necklace, and she reaches into a little pocket somewhere and pulls out the other piece of amethyst that she's going to also be making into a pendant. And she's just like comparing the sizing and making sure that everything still looks right, and tucks the other one back and goes back to what she was fiddling with.
Okay.
I cannot spell that frickin' word.
Is there more secret D&D happening?
There is more secret D&D happening.
Ooh.
It's not exactly secret when I buckle under that little pressure, huh?
My
It's just second D&D.
Fitbit is too tight. Oh, it's also dying. Oh, hey, I managed 43 active minutes today. Oh, yeah, that's right. I had Puppy Plus this morning. Third. I am not a librarian.
Are we stopped here long enough to consider it be a short rest? Should I take back that wild shape I did?
Depends on how long you think Asterinian needs to rest, which probably would be about a short rest, I imagine.
Cool. I am now wishing that I could hear Gregory type the way I hear my Ev type.
Counting words for the
Click.
5th time. Ah!
Does everybody else see Foggy standing there counting on his fingers?
Yes.
I didn't know you guys knew Snap's family.
You all saw each other in that dream. You saw them, they saw you. And Snaps has told them about you.
Was that Gilly saying that, or was that
Yeah, that was Gilly saying that.
okay? Well, the weird dream we had where we learned that we needed you and where to go. We kind of saw her whole family, and I guess they saw us too. Because I know you have to be able to sort of know who you're talking to when you do that. Because that's why when I had Snaps help me the first time, and she's like fiddling with her top at this point to make sure that the piece of her son and her husband is fully visible to Gilly. I made sure I yanked this up so she could talk to him, and well, we could talk to him because I can kind of do it, but not all the way like she can. And
Foggy
And
starts.
this-
Yeah, they saw
Oh,
us.
you two first.
This is your husband here?
Yeah, that's Geralt. He's kind of like you. He turned into the animals, and the kids loved it. And that's my Siggy.
Handsome family you have.
Mm.
You must miss them.
Yeah, even though and she's gonna like fully facepalm, and even though he lets him get up on the roof and then fall, it's okay. He's fine. I was told that he was fine. That was why we had to call and yell at him, because what the hell was he doing up on the roof? Why did you let our son up on the roof? And I mean, he's not that small anymore, but why'd you let the boy up on the roof? She's
Foggy's
Gilly's
gonna
just gonna
suddenly.
chuckle and let
Yeah.
that peter out.
Foggy's
Okay,
gonna
go Foggy.
suddenly look up off in the middle distance and think for a minute and starts counting on fingers and goes, counts again, counts again, counts a final time. Caught a ride, all but guarantees that we'll make it with time to spare. All is good, though I am wondering how this is fixable. And again, sits waiting for the barrage of, what was that this time?
Caught a ride. Gonna be there in time. Sure, this is fixable. How is this fixable? Gilly's gonna go. Yeah, how is this fixable?
yeah.
Clearly,
Maya
this
will
person
just
is in willing enough correspondence to at least answer that, theoretically at least.
If they can afford to send another sending.
If they, yeah,
yeah. And I think Mayev at this point is gonna kind of. So, do you know who it is that we saw that you're talking to?
yes, the ginger for tabaxi individual that was pacing in the middle of the temple in that dream. One of Snaps's father figures.
Okay.
That is player, not Foggy.
Are you coughing and dying or laughing up there?
Coughing.
Oh.
So player has announced it was the ginger, or did Foggy say it was the ginger?
Foggy said that.
Okay.
I was just pointing out that Foggy doesn't have a cough like I do. Don't know why.
Not the father.
Counting.
Huh?
I'm counting.
Ah, yes.
Does anyone have any recollection as to how long Mayev has been working at this piece of jewelry that she is making?
I think you just started it yesterday.
Yeah.
Which was a
There
month ago.
was. Yeah, that was a month ago.
You started it in the carriage, and that's like what, an hour ride from Dybrook to the homestead of Joy, and then you got some time in
Yeah.
last night before bed.
Yeah. Okay. So I'd say she's probably at like an hour and a half or so of work on this. And this is her first attempt at this. So I will leave it up to either of the DMs as to how long it will take her to be satisfied with her some form of success.
Oh no! How long does it take to make a necklace, or two necklaces? You're making two necklaces.
Mm-hmm.
You need to.
In actuality, outside of the game, if you know what you're doing, wire wrapping is a pretty quick thing.
Yeah.
And
At that point,
then
it's just how perfectionist Maev is about it. I'd say you
yeah,
probably are able to get them done between this rest and before bed and the time you spent yesterday in the carriage.
I think she's going to be very particular about about both of them, but more so with the first one that she is making for Snaps, and the second one that she is making for Gilly, as long as it does not look like it is going to fall apart and is still sort of pretty, she will be satisfied with that.
There are no further sendings, and I think Asterinian is ready to go.
I
Don't want
would
to
say
spend more
you
time
could.
in this desert than you need to.
Yeah. You could probably finish both necklaces by uh before you with the 2 more rests you're gonna have to have today. Well, the one more rest and then being dropped off somewhere to sleep for the night.
Yeah.
You could probably finish it before you go to sleep tonight. Both of
The
them.
first one or both of them?
Both of them.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Let's get the fuck out of these desert, guys.
Let's get out of this desert, guys. Climbing up, getting in between the wings, settling down, tucking a knee around one of the scales to hang on with.
We're off. Those big wings start beating again, and you take off. And eventually, you start flying. I don't know if there's any other whispers or conversation as we begin our flight to the northeast again. But as you go, the we rested right in here somewhere. You'll start to see that kind of scrubby grassland, I think, the edge of the desert, and then the forest ahead of you. As you're flying, if there's no conversation, you're all just kind of there with your thoughts about the messages that have happened today, the memory that has happened. Um, I would like, I would like Rasa, Dusk, and Maiev to make um, some kind of. I had it here somewhere. Sorry, this is not my usual setup. I would like Rasa, Dusk, and Maiev to each roll me a history check. Maiev gets advantage.
History check.
Okay.
History check.
Oh, thank the gods for advantage. With a 19 on
Go ahead
the
and pop them in the
die.
chat.
Considering Ross has a +4 and Dust has a -1.
Yeah, because our intelligent guy is not with us.
Technically,
Us is distracted. You know, a lot to think about after that chat in the sand over there, back there.
I am tired. It's hot in the sand. Good sand in places. We prefer not to discuss.
Sorry, I just
Yeah,
I had a moment of ADHDing out. Am I also making this check?
no.
Okay.
Just Rasa, Dusk, and Maiev. Rasa and Dusk, you're just kind of in your own heads. Maybe you're I don't know if whispers have started. Maybe you're chatting,
Um,
but my end.
actually, I did mean to do that uh, before we kick
Okay.
off because obviously I have to burn a psychic dice, which is fine. Drop it. And I got a 7, so 7 hours.
Fabulous.
7 hours.
That's way better.
Okay, cool. Much better. 7 hours, and you did that when we kicked off. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you're flying, maybe there's some chit chat, which we can come back to. But as you're flying, Maev, you're kind of it's loud, the wind is blowing, the wings are snapping, and your mind drifts back to that memory that you had,
Oh
the
God, which
memory of your
one?
son's wedding,
Okay.
because you've been thinking about that a lot lately.
Yeah.
It hasn't come up since the attack on the homestead happened, but that's been on your mind. Um, and that it sort of comes up in your mind again, and you have a realization that in that memory you were very focused on what was going on in the foreground. Your son and LaSalle all grown up,
Mhm.
and your husband is there, and it was so happy. But you know that there was stuff in the background, and it hits you that you recognize two of the partygoers to your son's wedding as being that gingerford tabaxi man and the red-skinned tiefling man that you saw in the vision. They were both at your son's wedding as guests, and they were sitting together, not dancing. They seemed older. They're already in their late 50s, early 60s now, and in that memory they were a little bit older, and they were sitting at a table, and their hands were entwined. And that's you just got a glimpse of it.
So the gingerford tabaxi and a red-skinned tiefling.
Yep.
You
There
saw
was
both of
the
those in the
Drink.
the
memory. Yeah, you saw both
you
of
saw
those
both
in
of
the
them in the
dream.
memory,
In the
and
memory
you're
and in the
realizing that
dream.
they were
Yeah.
also in your memory, but you didn't recognize them, but now you know. Now you're like, "Whoa, wait,
Ah,
they were in that memory that I saw in the cave."
okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay. When this realization hits, she's definitely anybody who's paying attention will see like a 1,000-yard stare start, and then she'll just kind of like snap out of it a little bit and just kind of smile to herself.
Dusk is just do 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 do.
Is anybody getting sunburned?
I don't know. Probably. Leah's got all kinds of scars, so.
Do we have ultraviolet radiation? Oh no. Radiation damage. Radiant damage, that's the word.
-1 hit point. -1. -1.
No.
Alright.
Maybe Gilly Paste does a little something to protect you from the sun.
Got a slight layer of fur covering my body. And Rasa has scales. No flesh per se.
But yeah, Mayev is scarred to hell, so we all know scars burn faster than unscarred skin.
Noted. So we make this second leg of the journey. I don't imagine we're going to want to drop down into a field of bees. Are we going to just look for a clear? Is Aesterinian going to just look for a nice empty looking clearing somewhere in here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wait, where are those bees? Aren't the
The
bees up by
colony, the
Pecan? Oh,
colony.
they're in the middle of the forest, weren't they? Because the family with the bees didn't actually live in Pecan Grove.
No, they did not.
But we'll avoid finding bees and just find a secluded forested area to touch down and get some more rest.
You've gotten out of the blasting hot oven of the Valley of the Sands. You've flown over the grasslands and the scrubby little thin forest and over the thicker bits of forest, and then you kind of circle down into a clearing and you take your second rest of the day. Yeah, you can delete that line. Somewhere in here-ish. But you're notably not looking for any structures. Does anyone have anything they'd want to do on this second rest?
Well, wagons, one presumes.
What?
There's no wagons. Checking for wagons.
Oh,
No.
was it just a
No
wagon or did
wreckage
we
of
miss
any.
something?
You missed
Was
something.
it just a chair? Oh, man.
With the natural one. But it did seem to be some very unlucky old caravan. But that's okay. It's, as far as you're aware, it's just crap in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in a pretty untouched section of forest here. The air is cooler. It's still quite sunny though. Not rainy like it was the day before.
Yeah, Dusk will take it easy. I think he feels pretty safe with this god hanging out near them. He's like, anybody who would try to take advantage of this situation be insane. He said wistfully into the ether. No one in particular.
Wait, sorry, I missed it. What did he say?
So anybody who would try to take advantage of this situation to reclaim or to claim the potential would have to be absolutely insane. He said off into the ether wistfully.
Y'all might notice that Gilly just any tension that's been in their shoulders is let go as soon as y'all land in the trees.
Noted.
Not like
They
being in the
just,
Valley of the Sands.
yeah, it's very relaxing, homey. Uh, take off the bra and relax on the sofa type of vibe coming from Gilly. Like, oh, okay.
Ooh.
I got my favorite enemy giving me a ride through my favorite terrain. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
So what does Maiev do right now?
She's fiddling with the. I think we said at this point she's starting the second necklace, and she'll finish the second necklace by the time we go to bed. So she's got the completed the completed pendant, I should be calling it, laid out across one leg, and she's attempting to mirror it as much as she can, and just kind of musing aloud, uh, kind of trying to like walk back through the dream out loud and see if there's anything else that pops up and sparks something in her mind. It's the
Are you looking for anything in particular?
um she's got her two little brain cells and she's trying to get them to hold hands. And there's a bunch of different things that she wants to know all at the same time. She wants to know who the father figure that is talking to Foggy is, and the tiefling. She wants to know more about that, but she also really wants to know, because Gilly wants to know, why Gilly is here.
Hmm.
And she probably has a couple of stray trains of thought that gravitate back to that kid that was sneaking around, because, well, she's a mom. And she saw that little kid, and that little kid saw her.
He was a teenager, like 16-ish. But yeah, he was definitely notably younger than everybody else. So you're trying to think, you're trying to connect some dots. You're thinking there's probably the sound of grinding gears from Maev's brain, a little bit of smoke coming out the
Oh, yeah.
ears.
Oh, yeah.
And Maev, you hear a voice in your head that is not your own. Amongst all the thoughts that you're having right now, there is another thought, and it doesn't belong to you. You hear, "Oh, this is stupid. It's fine. Maev doesn't need to know." And then your insides jump up into your throat and you feel yourself flip upside down. You are doubled over and dangling from the rickety wooden railing of a balcony over a rough sea. You feel yourself overbalance, and one of your feet leaves the wooden planks, but you catch your clawed toes on one of the vertical crossbars. That thought belonged to Snaps. She is hanging over that railing at the lighthouse, and her eyes meet and lock with that smoky monster guy, half out of the cliffside and looking up at her. She's hanging upside down and looking at this thing. You can feel her tail thrash as she is able to rock herself back into an upright position, and she's like rambling incoherently about the bad monster down there. And before she can even get out an articulate sentence, Rasa has grabbed the front of her armor, hooked a foot around her, and has spun her upper body over the edge. And Snaps is scrambling wildly, and she manages to grab a foot, grab one of Rasa's feet with one hand and Rasa's belt in the other. You hear the weathered railing creak dangerously, and you hear another thought from Snaps as clear as day. "Oh gods, if we die, Maev is gonna kill us." And Rasa is throwing daggers at the cliff face. And you'd think that was the limit of the stupidity, but oh no, it's not, because Foggy is right there next to her. And you feel an odd little flutter in Snap's heart as Foggy turns and tells her to trust him, just before he fucking launches his entire self off the railing. And your mind is just flooded by a string of curses in Infernal. And Foggy throws a couple of his sunbolts downwards, and he ignites his boots and he rockets himself back to safety just as Snaps digs her claws into the damp wood and hauls Rasa back up. All's well that ends well. Maev doesn't need to know. And just as a relief just flushes through your whole body, you find yourself back in the present, your heart still pounding in your chest in that clearing.
And she almost assuredly physically reacted to what she witnessed. and the sensation she felt of being doubled over. And so she's like holding on to the ground so she doesn't fall off the earth right now. And
Hmm.
the string of curses in Infernal, Maiev understood. I think she's the
It
only
was
other one in the
very
group.
it was very creative, like street kid from Baldur's Gate curses.
Nice. And so there's panting and there's gasping, and then she's like, okay, I'm not gonna puke, all right. And then she looks up. Who does she see first as she's leaned over, probably leaning against a tree while she's doing her crafting this time? Does she see Foggy first, or does she see Rasa first?
I mean, you're usually near Rasa, but where is Foggy? What's Foggy doing?
Well, Foggy is Karak right now, who is on protection detail. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like being in line of sight of both as many people as he can be, while also having a good position from which to see any potential dangers approaching. So you're probably closer to Rasa, but you probably have eyes on both of us.
That's
Yes, you did tattle on us.
perfect. That's actually honestly perfect. So she looks up and she sees Foggy, and she's probably got Rasa sitting next to her, and she's just gonna like one of her hands that's got earth in it. She will release the earth with the hand closer to Rasa and slam her hand down on Rasa's knee and point at Foggy and go, the both of you, really?
And Karak's just gonna shoot a confused, huh?
And she's pointing, and she's gonna do the mom come here finger of bring your ass over here right now.
Clomp, 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 clomp.
Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely called you by your full name just now, but with a glare. So she's gonna take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and then she's gonna go, the both of you. And she'll do it again because the eyes are starting to do the thing, and just no, it's fine, everything was fine. And she'll take like a very centering breath and go, either of you decide to launch yourselves off of a railing, off of a side of a cliff again, Snaps is
Let you
right,
know
I
first.
will kill you.
We
You'll
survived.
see you'll see Karak do a little head tilt of confusion and then thinking and then and that's about all you get out of him, and he just kind of clicks the metal heels together and shrugs and attempts to walk away and then like looks back and like waits for permission to walk away.
And that will probably make Maiev actually laugh. Because when you got close, she saw the eyes and remembered Foggy's not driving right now. And so she'll just kind of, while laughing, just talk into Foggy's head at Karak and go, "You're fine, buddy."
You get a little bit of a chuff from him, and Foggy will willingly respond, "I'm sorry. It seemed like a good idea in the moment."
I'm sure
Seemed
it
like a
did.
good idea at the time.
I'm sure it did. But Snaps is absolutely right. If any of you try that ever again and you die, I will kill you.
So what you're saying
Understood.
is, if we're
And
going to
walks away.
commit to a risky situation, we really got to make sure we give it our all.
And Maiev is just gonna fall over with laughter at this point.
And Rasa would just pat Mike on the shoulder, like, it just proves that we can do crazy things and still survive. So look on the bright side.
Yep. And she's like trying not to crack a rib now. Everything's fine. It worked out. Oh god. I went from 1 child to 5.
It's like, hey, you wouldn't have known until Snaps tailed on us from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
Which is really something if you think about it.
It is. It is something. I didn't like being upside down that quick. I thought I was gonna puke.
Well, let's hope we never have to deal with that. Only right side up surprises.
Right side up surprises. And she's gonna try while she's shaking with the remnants of laughter to
And
do more work.
Ross will probably just take one of her soul knives and just throw it at a nearby tree. Just either out of boredom or just sort of remembering throwing her soul knives at inanimate objects doesn't really, do a whole lot. Dusk will start carving some of that desert wood. It's gonna start making a special trinket for Snaps. And it'll basically be a Moon Maiden trinket like he's been doing, but on the back he's going to carve the words "Don't die."
Don't die. Okay. All right. So we're doing a little crafting, a little memory having, resting. Anything else before we take off again?
Before we take off again, I think Maiev is she's not like to the point of attuning to it, but she has been studying Snaps' pendant, and so the imagery on it, she wants to see if she can replicate it. So before we take off, she's gonna fish out one of her little daggers that she has and try to carve it into one of the nearby trees.
It's a fairly simple thing. I don't know if we want to roll for it. How good this image is.
Oh, sure. Which kind of roll am I doing? What do we call that?
Performance, dexterity, sleight of hand.
Dexterity. Dexterity. Like, how good are you at controlling your fingers to get the little details with this dagger?
Apparently quite. That dexterity check is a 19.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty nice little representation there. You've got the sensor and the 3 plumes, and you've even got like the nice elongated teardroppy shapes where the holes in the sensor are. You're pretty happy with that. You're like, damn, actually, I'm an artist.
I'm an artist.
I made art.
Made art. And then a treant comes out. No.
No.
No, it doesn't.
We thought it was bad when Ashley Johnson rolled a dragon.
Nope, the dragon is with you.
Pat it before climbing up onto our friendly dragon.
Right. And then we will. There'll be a little bit of a stronger beating of the wings as she has to get up quickly to clear the trees, and then you are off again. Flying to the northeast, and the sun has traversed quite a bit of sky. I wouldn't say it's sunset, but it's definitely getting to afternoon, late afternoon. Sun is left of you as you guys are flying.
The,
And on,
um,
go ahead.
I just want to add a little something. As
Yes.
you take off and clear the tops of the trees, Rasa is going to hear in her head, "Hang on, favored one."
Everybody, hang on.
And then the entirety of the dragon on which you are riding does a barrel roll
Ugh.
and
Shit.
flies upside down for just a second or two too long and completes the roll. Upside down is fun. And then they take off. That was all. That's all I wanted.
So did everyone hang on?
I tried.
I guess that's worth an athletics check. Saving throw.
Okay.
Strength saving throw. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, there was
Are
some
we doing a
warning.
group strength saving throw?
Oh no. Oh no. I was not raging. I did not have advantage. That was a bad roll.
Actions have
I mean,
consequences.
you did get warned. Is that advantage? You were
Mama?
Yeah,
warned to hang
sure. Why
on.
not? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, advantage. Strength saving throw.
All
Throw
right,
it in the
way
chat.
better.
First
It
roll
was
was better.
just narrative fun because Maiev said something about not wanting to be upside down ever again.
No, just
And
that quickly.
Aesterinian could hear it.
19 from Foggy.
Ah, I didn't tell you to do that.
Nat
Mhm.
20 for Rasa. Yay.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
We.
So yeah, you guys got to do a barrel roll.
Roll Constitution saving throws to see if we throw up.
If anybody pukes.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
feel like
if you feel inspired to do so.
No.
I feel like Maya should, because the reason she said that was because she felt like she was gonna puke, because she was upside down really, really fast. She didn't.
Please don't
Wasn't
puke on a
prepared for
goddess.
it.
That was great.
Uh,
Roll to puke on a god.
9
Ah.
plus 8 is 17.
I'd say you're fine. 17's good.
I did just for fun. They were good rolls, so. No puking today.
All right.
To not puke on a goddess.
Andrew's not here. He's got to have some fun in the messages, you know?
Oh yeah.
That's fair.
Oh my god, I cannot type today.
There have been many hours of D&D today.
There have been.
Many, many, many. I'm very happy with every one of them.
Unnecessary badass barrel roll.
Perfect.
All right, go ahead.
And we are
3
flying.
hours.
We're flying, and we cross over the last bit of the farm spar forest, and we're seeing those mountains ahead of us. And the air is actually, you're starting to get some nice cool cold breezes starting to come from the north right when we get around here. And as you're about right here, Maya, you feel your boobs get warm. It's definitely
Oh.
noticeable with the contrast of the cold mountain air.
Mm-hmm.
You feel your boobs
Did
get
I
warm.
miss why that's what's happening? The context? Did I miss that?
Yeah, the Snaps' pendant
Oh, never mind. Okay.
is in her cleavage.
Okay, I completely forgot why.
Moves are getting hot.
And it seems
Will's like, what
The
the
hell of
fuck are you people doing?
hell of a I was like, oh, that's an interesting sixth sense you have there. It's gonna rain. Why?
your
How do
boobs
you
get
know that?
warm.
Boobs.
And
Okay,
the
so
funny
why
thing
is
is there were
Maya's
glowing hot
boobs
boobs in
warm?
our session earlier today.
Yeah, there was.
I remember. That's why I'm like, wait. That happened already once before. I thought, once it's like okay, shenanigans, but I was like, wait, it's happening again. Okay, that
It
makes more
seems to
sense.
happen at least when she gets a memory, but it happens as far as she knows at other times, and I think other people have mentioned memories. So, but yeah, there were also glowing hot boobs in our other D&D session this morning.
Which was a whole other
But yeah,
thing.
whole other thing. But Maya, her boobs are just a little bit warm as we're kind of flying over just the beginnings of the mountains here. But yeah, that's about it. They get warm, and you're flying. So Maiev doesn't have a memory.
Gilly doesn't seem to be having one.
Nope. Nor do Dusk, Rasa, or Foggy. Just some warm
Okay.
boobs. And we continue flying.
I think at this point, has there been enough instances of it that Maev's two little brain cells can catch on to the fact that that means that somebody's remembering something from Snaps when her boobs get
I
warm?
think you've definitely noticed that they've been warm every time that you have seen something, and you know that the others have seen things that you have not. And
And
I
it was
think
warm for
Dusk
company
did
anyway.
mention, yeah, Dusk did mention having a memory while at the homestead, and your boobs were warm at the same time. So I'd say even with the 8 intelligence, she'd be connecting it by at least by this point.
Okay, so we're still flying.
Mhm.
So I think we had some number of hours on the Whispers. If they're
Yeah,
still up,
the
7.
Whispers is gonna
Yeah,
die 1 hour before you land.
okay. So as long as the Whispers are still up, Maiev is just gonna send down the grapevine. Who just my boobs are warm again. Who's remembering something from Snaps?
Uh,
Rasa reaches out to everybody and asks, "Okay, who's having a memory from Snaps?"
yeah. Anybody experiencing something none of us else are?
It's a no from
Anybody?
Gilly.
Bueller?
Checking my DMs. No. Yeah.
So the general consensus is that nobody on the back of this dragon is experiencing a memory of Snaps at the moment.
correct.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Maybe it was Professor. Maybe. Maybe Sandy. And she's just like mumbling to herself now of like the various people that it could maybe be.
Just I was trying to find a gift, but they don't have it of the part from the song. Are you any of you familiar with the group Electric Six?
I'm terrible with names.
And they have a song called "Danger High Voltage." if you watch the video for it, just the Maya thing reminded me of a part of that song. It's like not quite a minute in when you first see it happen, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
All right, well, it's open in another tab now. I think I just got a glimpse.
It's a hilarious song, and the video is even more hilarious. And yeah, anyways, not to derail everything, but yeah,
Interesting.
I was trying to find a GIF of that moment, but they don't have it of that moment. Different. Anyway, carry on.
I will need to look that up. I don't
Yeah,
have
that's
1,000
definitely a
tabs open.
song I'm going to listen to later. But for now, that image is just going to be burned into my retinas.
Yep.
Yeah, the clippy clip that you get is wow. That's all you got to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
The shit that dredges up my mind here. I haven't watched that video in like a decade. Anyway,
And I imagine in the last hour of this 12-hour trek that you all probably are starting to notice that Asterinian's wing beats are slower and more labored than they have been up till this point.
and Rasa would sort of maybe kind of whisper to Astrid, just like, "You okay there, friend?"
Yes, it's a long flight and a long day and with a lot of heavy people. I'll be fine.
Calling us fat?
Did she think that at Asterinian? I need to know. I need to know.
She probably would have, just out of like a sheer like the recoiling of that kind of like implication of like heavy people. It's like, we're not that bad.
Okay. Rasa is going to experience her blade
Oh, no.
vibrating wildly for just a second while Asterinian actually laughs out loud. Big, wide open mouth, throaty laugh as she's floating along. And yeah. She clearly is very pleased that Rasa made a joke.
Uh,
And we will spiral down and kind of come to a stop in this area-ish. Anything else on this leg of the journey?
Probably more of the same. Continuing to carve on Dusk's part. But
If it's
yeah,
at all possible for her to work on the pendant while we're flying, I think she will try to do that to try and get it done.
I think that would be kind of difficult with the
yeah, you're right.
movement and then the wind.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
too risky. Yeah,
you're kind of
I'd say probably be
stuck in your thoughts.
there would probably be a thought of like, okay, when we land, is that it? We're done now? No more flying? That would probably be from Dusk to Rasa to confirm. Which it's like yep, last leg. Just a reminder to everybody through Rasa. Like after this, we're saying goodbye. We're on our own.
And we're hoofing it.
That has
Make,
eaten up quite a bit of the journey.
make sure your tray tables are back
Yeah,
in their upright position.
you've basically done 3 days of travel in a day. And
In a
you've
straight line as opposed to
done a straight line instead of going around.
Mhm.
So you've essentially cut 4 days off this trip.
As the dragon-sized crow flies.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure your tray tables and seat backs are in the upright and locked position.
Search the area for your personal belongings.
Mhm.
Thank you for flying
And
Mr.
a,
Reed.
Asteroid Airlines.
thank you for flying Smiling Goddess Airlines.
Uh,
And you will spiral down into, I assume this is kind of rocky foothills of the beginnings of the Huntingsbane Mountains.
yeah, it's probably pretty rough terrain.
The dream did kind of take you in a this-a-way direction, kind of up here and then up almost along the coastline, avoiding the jaggediness of most of the mountains. So you all land, and what does Astronian do?
Just gonna wait until everybody offloads and turn to Rasa and express gratitude for completion and for allowing her to take part in ensuring the safety and protection of the potential. And promise her again that we'll keep it safe. It won't be corrupted.
Rasa will thank us for thank you for the assistance in the journey. And I'll start working on that oath.
I wish you luck and I wish you well.
Right back at you.
And the great big giant dragon is just gonna sort of acknowledge the group, do a little head bob, and take off into the sky and disappear in over the trees.
Thanks, Smiley.
Like
Rasa
literally
will
disappear.
Rasa will take out her knife and do like the old Dune salute, the knife.
And literally disappear above the trees. Little smile flies away.
She'll sheath her dagger and turn around and say, "Well, that happened."
Yeah. That was really cool.
How much of the day is left at this point?
Not much. It was fully daylight when y'all were breaking camp, and that was 12 hours, and you're on the eastern side of the
Yeah.
mountains, so you're
So,
probably already
so it's getting
in shade,
yeah.
kind of getting toward twilight.
Okay.
If y'all want to seek a
Well,
good place to camp, and y'all are go ahead.
it was 12 hours plus however much time spent on the two rests.
Plus, true,
Yeah.
probably at least an hour on each one.
Yeah.
It has been a long day for you. You weren't the one flying, but it takes some balance, and your thighs are kind of aching a little bit from gripping
Yeah. We're a little saddle
the
sore.
dragon and trying to stay on. Yeah, a little saddle sore, and your skin's kind of hot, kind of stings a little bit for some of you. Like Mayev's, in fact, you kind of notice Mayev's scars have that neon lobster sunburn thing going on, and your cheeks are all a little windburnt. I think Ross is probably okay with her scales though.
Yep. No big deal. Dusk probably okay-ish. 'Cause his skin is not necessarily bare skin. Still tired. Maybe he's wearing armor. A lot to hold on to. Not the most flexible range, but I take it we're basically in the wilderness. Dusk will look around and kind of take stock of the surroundings. And there's no trade road, no path, no wagon road, cart road, what have you. We're kind of in the middle of the wilderness now, right?
Yeah,
That is true.
kind of mountains to the left, and then looks like some evergreeny forest ahead of you. Kind of maybe tomorrow you're maybe going to be traversing that.
Kind of like in like a barren sort of where there's not enough
Oh.
soil for things to grow, not enough water to.
I think she would have dropped you like above the tree line, like because that's going to be hard for you to traverse all that way through the rocky stuff. So, but you're like at the base. There might be some not fully forested, but like patches of trees and not really lush, but eh, definitely wilderness. You probably find some shelter amongst the rocks, the crags.
All right, Dusk will be like, well, time to make the old camp with the old dome. Whenever we're ready.
And as everybody's putting out their bedrolls and whatnot, Gilly's walking around and giving everybody a little pat on the arm or caress across the cheek, and you know how Gilly does. And Maya might notice that sunburn maybe feels a little less unpleasant.
Thanks, Steve.
As you get 1 point of healing.
Oh yeah, I don't remember if I was actually supposed to take sun damage earlier or not.
We joked about it.
If anything happened, it doesn't matter. Gilly took care of it.
And you're really not hungry.
Does anyone want dinner is taken care of? Unless Karak needs to hunt, or unless anybody wants to do anything before the dome officially goes up.
I was thinking about it, but it's unnecessary. Just keeping a watchful eye.
So the bedrolls go down, the dome goes up. Nothing happens immediately when the dome shimmers into being, and you're all kind of settling in. And as you kind of all settle in, start to get quiet, but before any of you fall asleep, you all feel that now familiar blurring of the edges. Maya, of your boobs start to get a little bit warm, and you all blink, and in the next moment, you are experiencing a memory again. You are warm, floating, drifting on the wind, swaying back and forth with the rhythm of steps. But your legs are not moving. You see something above you, continually moving past your eyes. Your eyes focus and blur again. The ground. Um, the ground is moving above your head, but you are completely unconcerned by that. You see the back of two large boots moving in and out of view with the same rhythm of the swaying, and you see the flutter of dark blue cloth in front of your face. Snaps looks to the side and sees white braids swinging several inches above the dirt. There is some soft, sleepy mumbling from the pretty white dragonborn swaying next to her, swaying upside down next to her. And you see from Snap's point of view as she reaches out a clawed hand and swipes lazily at the swinging braids. But they swing just out of reach, and she only catches the hem of a blue robe. The whole memory has a very hazy, stupid quality. But Dusk seems to be carrying both Snaps and Rasa, each of them slung over a shoulder. Now, Rasa, this feeling is familiar to you. And perhaps to you as well, Gilly, I'm not sure. For the rest of you, you are experiencing a combination of drunkenness and an intelligence score of 1 from mind flare shots. And you are being carried, and you hear voices around you. And try as you might, you can't understand the words. Snaps twists a little, and you see a handsome elf, clearly sober, and a gorgeous gray half-orc, who is perhaps not so sober. And the orcish lady grins and picks up the elf, tossing him over her shoulder for no reason at all. He doesn't seem to need the ride, but playfully accepts. There is laughter and more talking. Words, just jumbles of funny sounds dancing in your ears. Language has no meaning to you in this moment. You can't even put names to the figures around you, but you trust them. What you feel is perhaps best described as being a child, being young and caught in the soft embrace of sleepiness as someone you trust carries you to bed. You can hear the warmth of beloved family in the next room. All is well. And then it's over, and you're all in your bedrolls.
Dusk would be like, I could really go for a mind flare shot right now. Anyone else?
I remember the hangover's a bitch.
And some bitch. I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if I would have Baldilocks, any of the Baldilocks with me. They were both the bottles that I had were put, one was in the pantry and the open one was put into the kitchen. I don't know if that would have been on the list of
Would you have
things
grabbed
that
them
my
on
elf
the
would have
way?
grabbed.
Are
Would
you
there have been a
musing
moment where she thought we're
aloud?
going to need something to celebrate?
Yeah, we would. Yeah, maybe.
We're gonna need a drink when this is all over, kind of thought.
Yeah, yeah, she probably would have had that thought. So in response to Dusk, she'll go, well, and she'll sit up a little straighter, and I don't have any mind flayers, and she'll reach into her pack. But I got this.
Oh. Well, yeah, we should probably save that one for celebration upon completion. Returning Snaps to this plane of existence.
How about this? And Gilly will pull out that bottle of wine she got from Bringway and Foggy. How about this?
Well, I mean, that'll do. Shots of wine it is.
I gotta say, and she takes a swig out of the bottle and passes it over. This is the most interesting way to get to know someone. I feel like I'm getting to know Snaps so much more than I ever would have just by chit-chatting with them. It's interesting.
It is.
Foggy nods in agreement.
It is. I think I gained a whole new appreciation for everyone when seeing us through her eyes.
You are quite the group. Close knit. Strong bonds.
Forged in fire.
And water.
And dank underground caves.
Now, player cannot remember if once the dome has gone up, if she can move in and out of it.
Everyone can except Dust.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So if
we're
you gotta pee, you can go.
Yeah,
we're
you know.
somewhere like over
Figure it out.
here.
Figure it out.
We
We're
are
a little south of that, right? We're like in the upper
in
corner of
this.
this. Yeah, somewhere in this
Okay.
grid.
Just beyond the
Yeah.
mines.
Okay. So probably not anywhere near any water. So never mind. Maya
There's
will
a
absolutely take a
interesting.
drink and continue to craft.
There's a little bit of like trepidation on Foggy's face for a minute, and then you do see the eyes change back to his. I don't do this often. Screw it. May I have the bottle?
Oh yeah, here you go.
Me and Kurok's relationship has changed, and I no longer need to be scared of alcohol, so yeah, why not? And take the first serious sip of wine I've probably taken in years. Um, how dry is the bottle that in particular I'm dealing with here?
It is just a very, very lovely, delicious, fruity wine.
Okay. So he'll take his sip and okay, yeah, that's not so bad. Yeah, okay. And he'll take a second one and pass it along. Um and then he makes eye contact with Gilly. I don't know that I've ever gone down the whole thing with all of you, but you were curious, so here it goes. Um there's a forest over in uh Faerun, known as the Far Forest. Have you heard of it?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, it's over in the northwestern area, and it's not particularly safe, but it's where me and my people found ourselves and eventually sort of settled and cleared out a rather large-ish safe space within. Um, but we lived really like far-ish on the eastern side, which is a big old desert over there, and there was this roving band of bandits that had set up a base of operations there, so to speak, and had been slowly expanding their territory into our space. And we weren't happy with it and drew a line in the dirt and said, we're not gonna just take you down because we weren't a warring people, but don't progress any further than this and we'll be fine. And then obviously, because they're asshole bandits, they overstepped that line, and so we backed up a little bit and drew a new line in the dirt, and then they stepped over it again, and then one final time we drew another line in the dirt, and obviously they stepped over it again, and some of the higher ups in our clan went, okay, okay, okay. Clearly, this isn't going to work if we don't take some kind of action. And I have no idea how much of it was quote unquote off the books, but without being told it's what was going to happen, I was selected and had the hunting partner of one of our chiefs bound to my body. And that's Karak, who you've been looking at the eyes of while he pilots my body while I try to not break down dealing with all of this. Um, I have no idea how much consent he had in the whole affair, other than the fact that I am the hunting companion of my uh, hunting companion, and this is where I am supposed to be now, so that's where I am now. And obviously, because I wasn't looped in on the whole we're going to turn you into a weapon thing, it freaked me out. And then I woke up in a place I didn't recognize, covered in blood that wasn't mine, and sort of essentially carved a swath down whatever coastline I had found myself on that to this day don't fully exactly remember where that was. Of just like finding safety, finding people willing to take me in, forming friendships, randomly getting angry at something for some reason, usually at least kind of justified, and then losing all of that because I got angry and then turned into a big old wolf thing. And one of those times, somebody was ready for me and put me in a box and threw me in the ocean, and that's how I ended up on this continent. For a long time, I did see him, and he sort of points to the back of his head, as a problem to be contained, and in fact, a lot of my training in martial arts, because I found someone on this continent who was capable of thoroughly thrashing me even while I was a big wolf. Um, a lot of his training was about the containing of the dire wolf that's in me. And I have since begun slowly. Yeah, he's shortening for the sake of
Yeah, yeah. I just didn't want
funny
anybody to think the
storytelling.
box got thrown in the ocean.
No, I was not literally thrown in an ocean. I was thrown on a boat and sent
Okay.
to a random continent, and it happened to be this one. Um, uh, I have since sort of unfurled the layers of the quote-unquote cage that he's in me, uh, because we are in closer contact with one another now. So I can, I can speak to him, and he doesn't use verbiage to speak to me, but I get ideas and feelings and noises. Um, and we're partners stuck in this body, essentially. But he cares pretty deeply for all of us, and obviously I care a little bit about him. I say a little bit. I was deeply worried when I at one point had removed curse cast upon us, and then he wasn't in my head anymore, and I full on panicked. Um, but I think we saw earlier that Snaps was instrumental in fixing that. Yeah, he's particularly fond of Dusk.
And Maiev is listening intently, because it's player can't remember if he has ever given us the whole story.
No, I do not believe so.
Never
Okay.
quite in that level of detail. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
Oh,
Maiev has been listening intently, and she's gonna just like elbow the shit out of Dusk. You hear that, Dusky? Kurok likes you.
he's a child of the moonmaiden in every way.
Hmm. Oh,
Been a long road.
there. Oh. Oh, a wiki page that I opened was playing an ad.
But wish I could recall such a story on my own to such a level of depth. Maybe in time I will, but beyond knowing what set me off on this path, life that I used to live still very much escapes me. Know where I'm from, know where I'm must have had a da, siblings, cousins, lovers. It's all
Since you're
grey.
thinking and trying to reminisce about it, main DM, do you want to ask him to do a check of some kind?
Don't recall what level of amnesia Dusk actually has.
He still like what happened in the cave when I kind of like I offered it up a lot, like basically catapulting my memory even more thoroughly than what had happened before. But he had been told, he doesn't necessarily remember it, but he's been told what he did tell because he had shared what he knew before the events of the cave with
Fomorian Cave.
the Fomorian cave. So he had shared some of the story with you
But I
all,
can't remember what all you gave up.
a lot of it was
You get
a lot of it was the events that transpired shortly after did wake up on the side of the riverbank, and that he had been getting some glimpses of some of the things, like his mother, uh, thing that hurt him in the first place. But
because that was sort of fogged out of his mind from the day he woke up.
yeah, he didn't know a lot, but then he was slowly gaining a couple things back here and there. He had gained some things back, not a lot. Like there was
And
the
then
Okarthel.
you
I think he remembered for the first time. Like
yeah.
in a way, he was able to. So he got a picture of his mother from the Moon Maiden, and so that he could not scribe, but send a spell
Yeah.
to her. So like he had been getting some pieces back, but not a lot. And uh, but then he kind of like willfully gave up all that, so he lost all that again. But you
So
were able to
that's what I'm
tell him,
trying to
yeah,
that's what I'm trying to parse. What
yeah.
exactly did he give up
I
on purpose?
I think he gave
Was
up a
it
lot.
his memories of home or his memories after he left home?
He basically given up everything until he arrived on to this continent.
Oh, okay. So everything, childhood, all
Yeah.
of it.
Like
Okay, okay, okay.
he remembers being on the boat here. Like that's a firm memory of him stepping off the boat,
Okay.
like
And
coming
he's
out of the
had some
mists.
memories of his mom since then have come back to
Yeah,
Yeah.
him.
right. There have
Yeah.
been some original memories returned. But for the most part, everything most of what he has known is what he's already shared. And it's sort of like secondhand because you guys sat him down and told him what you had
What
what
stories
Dusk
he
had
yeah.
shared. So
Yeah.
he knows about it like factually, but he doesn't necessarily have like he can't go into his head and picture what these things are.
Yeah.
Um, other than reaching out to his mother again, reascending and just sort of reestablishing that contact. Um, but he doesn't. I don't think we've really filled in any of those blanks again, not officially.
Yeah.
So like he can't remember what growing up in his village is like. He can't remember what did he do, like his other than again like his origin story, so to speak. He's been able to, I think, articulate actually I don't even know. I don't think. I'm trying to remember if even, and you guys would have to tell me if
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
shared
Yeah.
the day one that he had exhibited some power with the Moon Maiden's favor. If that story ever had been told. I know I typed it out to you, but but yeah, Dusk is here ruminating, trying to like plumb the depths of a gray mist in his mind that, you know, trying to throw facts at it like it'll help clear the mist. Like these are all things I know because I've been told. I told them these things. You know, like let's start chipping away. He's sort of like
Well,
trying to break down that wall.
yeah. I think we've done a history check for this in the past.
I think so. Yeah, which is, and he doesn't make much progress because he's got -1 history. Let's see. Let's just. Oh, okay. 19 -1 is 18.
18.
Nice.
I think that on this day and in this time of your life now and the quest that you are currently on, as you poke around in that foggy, faded, misty memory box that you carry, uh, you might, with that good roll, remember pretty clearly the as well as a 5-year-old boy can remember, or as well as an adult can remember the experience he had when he was 5, when he was when his mother was trying to explain to him why daddy's not coming home.
Uh, uh,
You're experiencing loss about snaps. All of that is raw and
the
live right
grief,
now. So a
grief.
5-year-old, as an adult, you're going to have memory of the day mom explained that daddy's gone on to a better place and a different way.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's kind of like when you smell something, it brings you back
Yeah.
to a memory of a similar
Mhm.
time when you
Oh yeah.
smelled that, and it's like that with grief.
Yeah.
So experiencing a shade of
But
grief in this moment of
uh,
grief.
but it's it is definitely a shade of grief because it is the memory of being 5.
Right,
And the
right.
look on your mom's face, and not the words she's saying, because it's so far in the past, you're not gonna
Yeah,
remember, and as a 5-year-old, that wouldn't have stuck with you as much as the confusion that you
yeah,
experienced in that moment,
yeah,
and so that's what's gonna come at you is those feelings of
yeah,
confusion and remember being 5.
yeah, yeah. It's hazy into itself, but the fact that he can remember it at all, even
Yeah,
even if it's almost like an out of body experience. Looking back at
yeah,
it far, he feels the feelings, even if he doesn't understand the words or remember the exact phrases that were said. But there's a heavy weight of life isn't going to be the same ever again.
yeah, yeah, yep,
There was the before that time, and then now there's the rest of it going forward.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
A staggering loss. And then that Dusk will just sort of he like almost stop mid sentence as he's talking about like the things that he listing things that he does not really sure if he even has something to remember, and then like that kind of hits him like a bolt of lightning and just like uh, well yeah, big
Oh,
sigh, just just that 1,000 yard stare and a
Foggy's
squint.
literally gonna say, "Oh, that looked unpleasant," and grab the bottle from whoever's currently got it and walk it over to you.
Yeah, and Dusk will take a big draught and just say, "Let's go get snaps."
Let's
I
fix
don't,
this shit.
I don't, I don't want to say goodbye to somebody else forever. Not until they're well into their years. And then Dusk will take that swig and just sort of lay down and stare up at the moon that is portrayed on the dome. And he's not really in a position to commune. I don't know if I have it. He's not really in a ceremonial position at the moment. But you see, remotely formal here. Nope. Apparently, I was geared for a fight more so than talking to my goddess. So yeah, he'll just say a little prayer to the Moon Maidens. I'm not sure if you were there helping me there, but thank you.
Helping you now.
Thank
Yeah, if you're gonna take a moment to do a little, just not a true prayer moment, but just send your heart and your thoughts out to her, I'm gonna give you that there would be some comfort. That
Yeah.
that spike of emotion you just had probably got her attention on you anyway. And so if you reach out for any comfort from the Moon Maiden, you will feel that air get a little heavier around you and just a gentle pressure that you know as, oh, it's here, she's here, there's comfort,
I
it's
do believe
happening.
there's like a control panel that the
Yeah.
Moon Maiden has. It says dusk is remembering. It's like the light is blinking red. Beep beep beep.
Oh, my boy needs a hug. I gotta go hug him.
I have a question for the DM who
Which one?
knows Maev's complete backstory, including the location of Equinshire.
Are you having trouble finding that information?
No, I
Okay.
have that information, and I
Okay.
then have a question.
Yeah.
After hearing Foggy relay his story,
Mm-hmm.
have I ever been to the far forest?
Where's Equinshire?
It's
Equinshire
you're pretty close.
Where in the
is
world
west
is
of
Maya
Silvery
San
Moon on
Diego?
the eastern edge of the Silverwood, near the borders of the Evermoors.
I am dropping some
Where's that?
pings
I see the
on
far
the far
forest.
Actually,
forest.
Where's the
check.
Evermoors? Oh, look at that. Mayev's from down here. Foggy is from there. Maybe you may have been to the far forest at some point. That was your question, is have you been there or are you familiar with it?
Am I have I been there? Am I familiar with it?
You're definitely familiar with where it is. What's on the other side of it? The high forest. Oh, that's where you fall into desert.
The Anorak
Right.
Desert, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure you spent a lot of time in deserts. So you may have passed through there, but I wouldn't say you've been there, been there.
Okay.
And again, any
Um,
locals would specifically have told you it's pretty fucking dangerous in there. Don't spend too much time in there if you're going to go there.
Yeah, and Mayo's clan, for lack of a better word, is nomadic, but they settled there.
Yeah.
And it's a mishmash of all kinds and walks of life and creeds and all of it. So I think yeah, Mayev is just gonna remark, not offhandedly, not nonchalantly, but just to have made the point to Foggy that the far forest is dangerous, but there is also some beauty there.
Oh, definitely. It was only about 200 miles away from you, for the record. I did just check.
The knitting grows tighter. Oh yeah. Because, by the way, this is a thing I got while Ashley West is here. And I'm not entirely sure what we
Aste's
are.
typing.
Aste is
It's like,
typing.
what is
Aste's
happening?
typing.
Like, what is happening? Who got oofed
got
this
oofed.
time?
Too funny. So before sleep, the stories have been shared, the drinking has been done. Gilly
Wow.
may have had more drink than Gilly is accustomed to having because this entire experience is a little overwhelming. There is a sense of responsibility creeping up on them, and they're not a fan of that in general. And so there's some boozing up happening. And at some point before everybody's really getting to sleep, and after Foggy's eyes switch again,
Yeah.
Gilly's gonna cast a little spell and invite Foggy/Kurok to step away from the dome as everybody else is settling down.
More than willing.
I just heard a pating, but I don't know what it was from.
It was from the general
Oh, it's
chat.
the main
I
chat.
put the
Oh yeah.
picture of my present.
Ah, there we are. Yes, very pretty. Where am I? Here. Yes. So, if Foggy/Kurok will join them, they'll get off near the nearest tree or group of trees.
Mhm.
And Kurok will fully understand a series of sounds and body movement and essentially a play bow. Foggy will just hear, Kurok sound from outside of you.
Right.
Like Gilly is talking to Kurok in Kurok's language, essentially. And
So is she doing
uh,
speak with animals or is she wild shaping and I ADHD'd past that?
she cast a spell, speak with animals,
Gotcha.
and then started making noise as far as Foggy knows. But you feel Kurok's emotional reaction to it is one of playful and a little bit joyful and a lot of excitement. And Billy's shoulder does a little twitch, and they start to develop a little bit of fur on the cheek and across the face, and the snout comes out a little bit, and the ears shift and peek up out of the red hair, and they turn into a blazing coppery red direwolf. And there is an awoo, and then they take off.
Typically speaking, the rules for rage imply that if I don't deal or receive damage every 6 seconds, I transform out. But for the purposes of play, would you let me just rage and have my head
Yeah,
be a wolf and play with Gilly for a
yeah,
little bit? Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. It literally was just giving Kurok an opportunity to dissociate and play.
All right.
That was all it was about. Gilly just wanted Kurok to know that Gilly knows that he's in there
All
and
right.
wanted to engage with him more directly for the first time.
So yeah, she's gonna see not just that the eyes have changed, which is clearly the signifier for who's driving, but also that some of the skin. I haven't gotten to use this verbiage in a while. I'm very pleased. Some of the skin around his neck starts to crack and flake away like paint off of a rusty car. I love that specific line that I've crafted because it gives a very specific image in my brain. Um, Revealing paper white fur underneath, and the jaw cracks and distends forward, and the face stretches forward and peels away into big wolf head. And gonna chase Gilly around for a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit of a chase me, play tag in the woods.
Heck yeah.
That was it. Eventually, they'll make their way back to the dome and settle in for the night.
I think Maya saw that happen. Have I completed both necklaces? Pendants?
Yeah, we decided you would have them done by the end of the night.
Cool. Billy will return to an amethyst pendant on their bedroll.
Sorry, what?
After the chase me tag in the woods, Billy returns to an amethyst, handcrafted amethyst stone pendant on their bedroll.
On the bedroll. Okay. They've seen you working on it, so they know it's from you. Okay.
And their tools returned.
Are you sleeping?
Maybe.
We've been gone at least an hour.
I think she's trying to, but she's probably not going to get incredibly restful sleep tonight. It's been a day.
In a day. So yeah, they will pick up the pendant and admire it and check to see if you look like you're sleeping. Are you pretending to be sleeping?
I think she's trying to fool herself into being sleeping at this point because she knows that the sleep is the dome is a time constraint.
So Gilly's going to decide, since you didn't react to their return, that they're not going to disturb you, but they will just flip the loop over their head, pull the hair out, and fluff it out of the way of the lacing that you've made, and squishy and nestle it against their rib cage sternum, and lay both hands over it and eyes closed. And if anyone's watching, there might be a slight glow from their hands. And then they'll lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah,
I have a
I
question
think,
for Maev.
Okay, Maev would have laid down facing the direction that the two of them ran off to play in. Trying to deceive myself into being asleep. I only rolled a 13, so there may have been some sort of registering of what just occurred. And you have a question for Maev?
Yes. Maev was using strips of cloth from the robes from the mansion, correct? Along with the silver wire from Gilly?
Yes.
Aste took the red robe, but there was a rainbow of other robes. What color strips of cloth were used in these two necklaces?
I had an answer for that. Because I had the robes in my backpack, not my equipment. Standard set of robes. Oh, I didn't write down all of the colors.
I know Aste took the red one and you took everything else, and I think there was basically
Yeah.
any other color to choose from.
I think it was probably some the one for snaps definitely has to gray and as close to white as she can get. And the one for Gilly is gonna have as Aste has the red one, it'll have some more of the gray and probably green.
Everybody settles down to sleep, and we've eaten some time out of the dome. Does anyone keep watch? Does Foggy decide to trance at all, or does he sleep? Are we just sleeping through?
He is not going to let himself dream right now. He is trancing for the first 4 hours and then staying awake.
Excellent. And everybody else is sleeping.
Oh yeah.
All right. You wake up before dawn. Well, you come out of your trance before dawn, Foggy, and I assumed keep watch outside of the dome. Roll me a perception check.
Okay. Yep. Ooh. Ooh. That's good. 25.
Nice.
Excellent.
19 plus 6.
Excellent. As you guys are kind of in the foothills. You're not like way up. There are trees around. You might have nestled the dome in kind of a crag so that like one side is protected by a stone, a wall of stone, like a cliff face almost. And you're looking out, observing, watching. And before dawn, in the like early hours of the morning, you kind of notice down, I wouldn't say valley, but down kind of in the direction of the ocean, kind of downhill from you, you do start to see kind of fog. And this does seem to be just regular, natural fog. Nothing's moving at an unusual pace or direction, just seems to be coming in from the ocean in that direction, just creeping its way up. And the second half of the night is pretty quiet. Um, normal night sounds. And by the time everything kind of starts to lighten around you, the fog has kind of crept up to and beyond where your camp is. So the outside of the dome is pretty misty by the time the rest of your companions are probably about done with their sleep. And it's been a pretty quiet evening, but with that perception roll, your eyes do catch movement near a cluster of trees. And you see a few elk, giant elk actually, sort of walk into view. Just walking by. Maybe mm, maybe only about 40 feet away, actually, and there seems to be a little herd of them, maybe 7 or 8. There's a little handful.
Jeez. Alright, well, just try not to disturb him.
They're kind of grazing and walking, and a couple of them actually kind of wander up toward the dome and start sniffing around.
Yeah. Alright.
And it's probably about this time that the dome falls and that cool, foggy mist is going to roll over everybody, and you're going to have a cool, muggy wake up.
Yep.
And the elk startle when they see you.
Yep.
Oh, this is going to do
But
nothing for the hair today.
Yeah.
these are giant elk, and they kind of startle, and they almost start to run away. A couple of them bound away in the back, but the two that are up close on the dome, they actually relax when they see you.
Yeah. Hey, Mama.
Yeah.
I've spent a crap ton of time in the forest. Um, would I know anything about giant elk?
They be elk, they be giant. Not sure what you're trying to find. Is there something in particular you wish you knew about elk?
Yeah, like how amiable are they? How like
You want to know the temperament of a random giant elk?
yeah.
I would say that in general they are uh uh they know or perceive humanoids as different from themselves enough that they would avoid them in general.
Okay.
It seems to me that what you're experiencing right now would be out of the ordinary in your opinion. In the general opinion of humanoids on this continent, this seems like an odd behavior for elk. They wouldn't normally stick around. They should have startled and run off when the
Okay.
dome went down.
I'm gonna gently approach one of the ones that is calming in my presence or being calmed in my presence. Just give it like
And
a
its
little
its
head
ears are
tilt and
forward, and it's watching you.
gently
Are
extend a
you
hand
observing?
towards the the nose. What are the rest of them doing?
Most of them are kind of off near that cluster of trees, watching warily. And then another one is kind of snuffling more into the camp. But the one that you're looking at, uh, kind of sniffs your hand, and then its head comes up and it's looking maybe as your companions are moving. And when it does that, you see a small scar across its flank.
Oh.
And you know that you are experiencing a memory again. That wound looks pretty bad. This one can deal with it. Can you, Snaps? It's daylight, and the misty morning around you has been replaced by a bright, sunny meadow.
Hmm.
You are looking down at white tabaxi paws as Snaps is carefully picking her way through trampled clover and around broken beehives. Her field of view flicks up, and you feel her heart skip a beat. You see yourself as she saw you in that moment. Your face is flushed and your hair is a little messy after the battle with the owlbears. But your eyes are clear and calm. There's no sign of lingering, uncontrolled rage. You're just standing there, surrounded by flowers and drifting breeze, the springtime sun shining down on you, with a hand on the giant elk beside you, and Snaps. Oh, she. The creature slowly turns to face
You're
symbol at
breaking
her
up.
throat,
You got
and
to
you
go.
can
Wait,
feel
wait,
her
what?
reach.
You got to go back a little bit because we lost you for a bit.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
So Snaps murmurs an assent as the gentle creature slowly turns to face its wound in her direction. One of her hands touches the holy symbol at her throat, and you can feel her reach for the weave. The physical sensation of channeling divine magic is something that's interesting on its own, but there's something else going on here. As Snaps gently guides the divine magic to knit the wound, her attention drifts. And without having realized what she's doing, she's looking at you again, standing nearby with that calming hand still on the elk. It's not just a physical attraction that you're feeling. Snaps is touched by your kindness. The small things like this moment with the elk, a thousand seemingly insignificant little acts of consideration since she met you, both on and off the battlefield. She feels safe with you. She Snaps is realizing that she loves you. And Snaps jerks away from the feeling. She panics. In that moment, you can feel her healing spell end abruptly, a little too soon, and there's a small scratch on the elk's flank. Something like shock and surprise burns across her collarbones, and there's this maelstrom of emotion as the implications start to tumble in, and the memory fades, and you're looking at that elk again, and the little bald spot where the scratch has healed quite nicely. Mayev's boobs are warm, but just Foggy saw that memory.
The important.
Yeah, there's definitely visible tear or two down Foggy's cheek that he, not even attempting to hide, wiping them away. Which definitely also happens to the player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As you look, this is the group of elk that was at that farm. One of them is kind of sniffling over at
Mm.
the end of Dusk's bedroll, and yeah, they're regular giant elk,
And I do need to
but
preface
otherwise
for
unremarkable.
the benefit of me, these are regular elk that happen to be quite large, or are these stat blocked giant elk?
Stat blocked giant elk. We met them at that farm south of
Right.
that
Okay.
apiary south of Pecan Grove.
Because player accidentally used those things and then realized that their stats implies things that are unexpected, like the fact that they understand common, but I don't know that Foggy knows that.
Foggy does know that because he spoke to one and told it to stand still while Snaps healed it.
Oh, duh. Okay, yes. I don't need to. Sorry. Yes, all of it is now connecting in my brain. Sorry, I'm a bit scatterbrained this session because I've had a lot of D&D today, and also lots of talk of Snaps as
It's
being dead.
midnight, past midnight.
Bah. Cool. Okay. Well, he's going to uh, clear himself up a little bit, and then in common at the thing. Uh, Glad to see you and yours are doing okay.
And it gives you a kind
Uh,
of a friendly snuffle of your hair.
oh, scritches under the neck.
But otherwise, the group kind of seems to be moving on. Although, yeah, the rest of your companions are waking up and seeing the beasties.
Yeah. Part of me wants to ask for some form of assistance, but I also wouldn't want to inconvenience you and yours. Which direction did they appear to be coming from?
South. I mean, the Farmerspar Forest is down south,
Right.
so they seem to be moving in a that away direction.
So they'd already be moving in the. He'll say this out loud. So y'all are already moving in the direction we plan on going. Do you at least, as a group, want to stick together?
And it's bright-eyed, ears forward, and it kind of looks over at all of your companions and a couple of the other ones who were also there involved in the mayhem at the apiary. They kind of pause, and then the one near you moves, takes a few steps to where its side is kind of parallel with you, and then
Okay.
looks back at you over its shoulder.
Oh, are you offering me a ride?
And then there's a lowering, and then of the head, like a slow nod.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And another gentle set of rubs and gently getting myself up onto the thing.
You're gonna leave your bedroll on the ground.
I'll
Oh,
get
yeah,
that for
that's
you,
a
Foggy. You got a
thank you.
friend here, do ya? Rolling it up. What's all this
Yeah.
then?
Sorry.
This is
Yeah, these
here's your bedroll. What
yeah,
the?
thank you. Yeah, this group of giant elk were involved in an attack thing that happened a little bit ago, and this particular one got injured, but Snaps helped it recover. And it recognized me because these things are damn smart. I
Yes, I
asked
do
if it
know.
wanted to. I asked if it was willing to travel as a conglomerate instead of two different groups happening to move in the same direction, and it just kind of let me get on top. So, yeah, I suppose as long as you're gentle and trying not to scare them, I assume at least a couple others would be willing to offer rides. Would I be incorrect in assuming as such? And I direct that question at the elk I'm sitting on.
And you notice that the others have kind of paused and are coming in your direction, and one has been quite interested in Dusk. Um,
Heck yeah.
he might recognize it as the one that he spoke to at the farm, because he did speak with animals, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's kind of nosing around his pack, maybe looking for a snack.
Bucket bacon all around.
The bacon for the is
Sorry,
is
scroll bacon.
Dusk awake at this point, or is he still sort of dozing?
Yeah, Dusk
Trying
would
to-
have woken
Okay.
up with a big elk nose in his face.
And yeah, oh yeah, he'd be like, "Well, hello there, cousin."
You get just a steamy blow of air out of this thing's nostrils.
Yep.
Because
About fresh
is it
mountain
true
air.
that Dusk has a full-on set of antlers just like theirs?
You know what? I haven't
They're growing.
actually done the math because I meant to figure that out. I haven't. Because when it started, I made a note somewhere.
We were in Salton Landing when you had some nubs and you asked Snaps to do a little itch cream for you.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Realize.
what town you were in when he had the bloody happen?
I think it was. I thought we were in Christopher.
Crowless?
Crowley?
Crowless. I thought it was around somewhere between Crowless and Ardglass. And I had a note about the day. And I'm looking through all my notes on the character sheet. Apparently.
Between Crowless and Barkanau, you said?
Yeah. I had a note of the date.
B.
And notes. Extras.
Is at the south of the continent.
Oh,
I know. Let's see.
that's gonna be.
We were in Barkanau on day 49. And today is going to be day 64.
So
It's been 15 days.
15 days. A rate of elk antlers growth.
The things
I
you
fucking
Google when
love
you
Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow, okay. They grow at a rapid rate, reaching a peak of approximately 1 inch per day during
Oh
their
yeah,
growth
so you've
phase.
got You've got over, or probably
So
for you nearly, foot-long
yeah,
antlers off of
they could,
your head.
yeah. Holy cow. Yeah, I have like a good.
Sorry.
Holy cow, man.
Oh yeah, hello. Yeah, so I'm rocking a good, little over a ruler's worth of linear antler. Kind of. Oh man, I need new art now.
You do
Yeah,
need new art now.
it's yeah. Here I am thinking I'd be like unwrap it and be like, hey, look at me. But no concealing these bad boys. Uh, so yeah, at this point they're demure, as far as antlers go. But uh, yeah, he goes, he just kind of reaches up and kind of like, you know, feels the antlers and kind of nods them in the direction of the elk and just say like, "Oh, gonna look like you one day, there, cousin." Seems not too long.
And it kind of lowers its rack to compare to yours, and it's as much bigger.
Yeah,
And then it takes a step back and it kind of tosses its head a little bit, and you get vibes of amusement
just
from it.
yeah, just definitely leaning into the beast, speech of Beast and Leaf, and just saying, you don't need to show off. But yeah, he'll feel around in his pack maybe for some granola or some sort of dry oats, something that, or some hardtack or something that would be appropriate for an elk.
Started keeping snacks for the horses, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. An apple, perhaps. Yeah,
It will happily accept.
there you go.
Ross is
And
probably just a little dubious, but gonna ride an elk.
he'll he'll feel his ring and he'll cast speak with animals real quick. Uh, since it has been a long time since I've cast it, so it should have its charges back. And just say, all right, now that I've given you something to munch on, maybe you could tell me what you've been up to.
Good to see you again, kind sir.
Likewise.
We are headed to our normal stomping grounds, more to the north as the weather gets warmer.
Would you like to accompany us? We're heading the same way. Maybe.
Safety in numbers, if you don't mind.
Well, it should be more us questing just to join your pack, your herd.
And it will
Respectful.
lower its head in agreement, much like the one did for Foggy a moment ago.
Anything dangerous to be careful of? I'm not from these lands.
We stay down into the lower part of the range in the forested areas. It's safe. When you go up into the high rocks, there are predators.
Anything that might look like this, and he's sort of, I don't know if he'd have the book available. The book snaps his collection, the bestiary. And he'd thumb for
Snaps
the
does not have the bestiary. I think. Are you
I
looking for
think
the
Ross
remoras?
yeah, he's gonna try and find like the Remoraz's uh
I think Mayev has that
entry.
one because she's the one that found it.
Ah,
I'll snap my fingers at Maya. Be like, Maya, I need the
Yeah, what?
bestiary.
What?
I need
Oh,
Snaps' book. Or
okay,
Snaps' book.
okay. She's
I'm
still a little bleary eyed. Just here, desk. It's really early for books.
I'm reading to the elks.
Okay.
and he'll find the thing and just kind of pop open and get to the page to the Remoraz and just say, "Ever seen one of these?"
It's gonna snuffle the pages and start kind of nibbling the book a little bit.
No, 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 not food, not food.
And it'll kind of
Tear
turn
through
its
your
head
system.
and observe. It'll back up a step and turn its head so it can kind of observe the book with one eye. And there's clearly no recognition there. It's not.
Okay, just checking.
Kind of took it a second to figure out what you were asking, but it doesn't really recognize.
Like there's this
Um,
picture. All right, worth a shot. Well,
Danger in
we'll
the mountains is oftentimes things that walk on two legs, but
like,
bigger than even you.
mm, like if three of me were standing on top of my shoulders, if like if I had another one of me standing on my
Giant.
shoulders.
Yes.
Well, that's
Hmm.
oof. Well, we'll depart before we worry about those. We're heading to the. He's gonna point vaguely to the north, like tallest rock touches
We
the
will have to
sky.
leave you before then.
Of course.
We can travel a while.
Right. More apples where those came from. All right. Very good. Very good. Well, my herd will be eventually getting up, right? Lazy bones.
Gilly's
Come on.
just has given Foggy his stuff and has been wrapping up their own stuff, but then instead of getting on an elk, sort of sat on their bedroll and started braiding what became a very unruly head of curls because of the misty, moisty air, and has plaited it down as tightly to their head as they can. And now there's these two braids hanging down across their back. And they'll scoop up their bedroll and backpack and approach one of the elk and just stick a hand out toward its face.
Good news,
And-
everyone. We've been accepted into the elk herd.
Nice.
Woo.
It's unsure because it doesn't recognize you, but you're traveling with these people. It takes a moment and then snuffles your hand and comes up
And
alongside you.
Gilly's going to bend over in front of the elk and just gently blow into a nostril.
It will accept your
Is
scent,
that
and it takes a
how
moment to
you
observe
are?
you, and you are being remembered by this elk.
And she will say, or they will say, "Thank you, kind and gentle. We appreciate you." And will literally hop once and land on the elk's back.
Heck yeah.
Boing.
Maiev is so not as graceful at all. She's just gonna kind of like she'll hold the hand out to be like, you can smell me, and just kind of like if it's cool with that, she'll like pat its face, and then struggle mightily to get up onto this thing.
Someone help Rasa up onto an elk.
Oh yeah.
All those
Russell will,
skirts and things in the way.
Russell will definitely
Need assistance.
maybe just kind of side eye. Like I gotta get up on that thing. What?
Come on, you
Maybe a
were
bit of
riding a
side
dragon
saddle.
goddess yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. definitely
We were riding a
different.
dragon.
It's not exactly a luxury 747, but yeah. So yeah, she'll get up on whichever one is willing to let her. She'll be able to scramble up.
Maya would have helped Rasa up before then, very ungracefully getting herself up onto one. All right.
So everybody climbs up, and there is one thing I want to do at the end of the session, but I think we should probably end soon, considering it's 12:30 and I've got to be in a car for 9 hours
Yeah.
tomorrow after emptying a storage unit.
I am definitely fading.
Is there anything
Alrighty.
anyone else wants to do before we end the session? Like I said, I want to do something at the very end. Anything anyone wants to do as we set off on these elk?
Nah, not from Duskara.
Think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Good.
All right. In that case, Vaste le lunari, serenthi galilore neruli sestawe non melui tenu. You are floating in the zero gravity of the astral plane, and you have put your arms behind your head, as you said, and you're observing the stars as these messages have come through, and you have responded to both of them. And you blink, and you are experiencing another memory from Snaps in perfect clarity. Again, you feel her emotions and the physical sensations that she felt at the time. You smell wood smoke, and you see the darkened main hallway of the homestead of the Wanderers. You hear a bout of distant laughter outside that could only belong to dusk. The light of the bonfire out front filters through the windows of Maev's empty room and flickers across Snap's toes in the hallway, and you hear the last few words of a sending spell echo in her mind. It's in a language you don't understand, one full of harsh consonants, but the way the words are spoken is gentle, the intent clearly loving. The low voice of the male speaker is clearly rough with emotion, and you feel a matching swell of emotion in Snap's chest as the spell winds to a close. She stays there in the hallway for a few moments, watching the flicker of the bonfire and the shadows of the wanderers outside, and you feel her scrub her tears into the fur of her face to hide them. And she begins to walk down the hall and make her way outside to join the rest of you. As Snaps meanders outside, you see Fate's wanderers clearly, yourself included. Dusk and Yaren are having a jovial discussion with Robert and Bernard. Gilly is talking quietly with Jocelyn, the handmaiden, and Samity is nearby, watching Gilly with the most love-struck expression. On the other side of the fire, Maev and LaSalle have teamed up in a game against Rasa and Foggy, but it looks like it's really turning into all of the girls versus Foggy. Snaps wanders over to you, and Marina is nearby, of course, Countess Marina. But Snaps chooses to sit with you specifically. You said once that you didn't know how to get closer to the other wanderers. The truth is that it's not something you can try to do. It's not something you learn. It's simply who you are. And Aste, you have already done it. You can feel a warm flow of platonic affection as Snaps settles next to you and stretches out that right leg with the scar on it. She appreciates your energy. She's a cat, and you're the kind of friend that she can just hang out in the same room with while you're both doing your own things. You feel that affection, but it's part of something bigger. You realize that Snaps loves everyone here. There's this gentle ebb and flow of platonic love and familial love, and as she catches Foggy's eyes through the fire, you feel romantic love too. Give possibly a very strange feeling for you. But throughout and above it all is a weave of community, a communal love. It's a tapestry of home and safety, and for Snaps, you are clearly a part of it. She blinks, you blink, and the memory is gone, and you see the stars of your home plane again. And that's the end of the session.
Aw.
Yay.
Good night, YouTube.
Yeah. Good night,
Good
YouTube.
night, YouTube. Hello, Kleenex box.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just so thrilled that
Oh, boy.
Andrew has been able to stay connected and that West has made such an effort to include him in this segment of the story, even though he can't be here on Saturday nights.
He gets to catch up on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was
But
typing
they've
a second
also-
ago while you were talking
Yeah.
to him.
It was pretty cool. But they've also been communicating directly in between sessions, Will.
Oh, right.
She's been engaging with him indirectly outside of session to keep him engaged with the story the same way we're engaging with it during sessions. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording there then. Good night, YouTube.
Okay.
Good night, YouTube.
Good night.
Good night, YouTube. So, Wes,